Hello everybody, welcome. I'm Zach from Myshire Farm. Give me just a second to settle in here. It got crazy the last 2 hours, so I apologize. I'm a little behind, but I am almost caught up now. And give me just a second to get set up, and then we will get started after I take a drink. All right, so I do sound a little stuffed up. I still am. I get sick every year after QuailCon. I think I just wear myself out and my immune system just tanks. But I am back up on the rise. I've got my energy back, so that's great because I got a lot of stuff to do. So we missed the last 2 weeks because 2 weeks ago was QuailCon, which we had here on the farm, and then we missed last week because I was under the weather. But I am back. This is our regular Sunday night live. We try to do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a live question and answer. So if you have any questions about Coturnix quail, raising them, brooding them, breeding them, selling them, hatching them, I don't know. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. That is why we do this. We've been doing this for about, 4 years, 5 years now? I don't know. Long time. We've been doing it for a long time. Every once in a while, I will miss one. I usually post on YouTube that, we've had to cancel or whatever. But usually I'm here. We do a couple fun things here. So if you are new, welcome. We're glad you're here. If you've been here before, I'm glad you're back. This is a community kind of style live Q&A. I go through and read all the questions and answers, or all the questions. I try to answer everything and any comments, things like that. So if you want to let us know where you're from, it's always interesting to see where all the quail people are at in the world. That's always a lot of fun. Number two, if you've hatched any eggs from us in the past 2 weeks and have not told me what the hatch rate is, feel free to do so. I'll write that down on our list and put that in our numbers. We are averaging a 74% hatch rate on shipped eggs. I have enough information back as far as hatch rates go. So when we ship out, we ask for whoever we ship the eggs to let us know what we're averaging a 74% hatch rate on shipped eggs for the year. Now, at the beginning of the year, probably in March, we did a course called Quail University. It's called Quail 101, and you can visit that at quailuniversity.com. And it's a course that you can buy for $49, but it's literally like 8 hours of content, and it goes down the road, like what to choose from, where to get them from, what to look for a seller, how to get your housing right, what to do during your hatch process, how to brood them, how to put them in cages for your breeding program, things like that. And I have enough content or enough information back that so we average a 74% hatch rate on shipped eggs. However, newbies that hatch out for the very first time is lower than people that are more experienced. Obviously, the more experience you have, the better you'll get at it. It's a learning process, right? People that take Quail University and hatch out for the very first time have a 12% higher hatch rate at the very beginning. So I thought that was kind of really cool information. We're going to continue to get that information back as much as I can. I need to be a little bit more vigilant doing that. But those are the numbers. There is about 150 so far that I've gotten the numbers from. I feel like I'm comfortable with that number right now. So that was kind of the cool thing. But if you've hatched any eggs from us and not told us the hatch rate, feel free to do so. I'll write that down and we'll add that to our list and update our records. Obviously, let us know where you're from. It's always interesting to see where everybody's at, like I said before. And let's be kind to one another in the comments. This is a community. It's a fantastic, amazing community where we all get together and support one another. Myshire's goal is to educate, encourage, and enthuse, but I can only do so much as one person. But as a community, we can do it all so much better. So support each other in the comments, help each other out, and support me by just hitting the like button. I'm not asking for any money or anything like that. Just hit the like button, support the channel, helps the channel grow, makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, and I would greatly appreciate it. I think that is it. I don't really have a lot of announcements. I was very busy all day in the barn. I did auctions today. If you're not part of our auction group on Facebook, it's Myshire Quail Egg Auctions. We do auctions every weekend for quail eggs. A lot of great deals, a lot of fun. Everybody really enjoys it. Some really amazing deals this weekend. I did them Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday was about what you would buy them for. And today, people got ridiculous, really good deals. So that's kind of cool. So make sure you check that out on our Facebook page, Myshire Quail Egg Auctions. I think that's all of my announcements. So we'll just get into the comments, shall we? I'm going to take another drink because my throat is rough. And we'll keep going. We do have a lot of things in the works. Like I said, we just finished QuailCon 2023. We had it here on our farm in Miamisburg, Ohio. We had about 220, 250 people come. We had a lot of people that bought tickets that were unable to come, but hopefully they can make it next year. We had a lot of great stuff. I've heard nothing but great news. There's a Facebook group called QuailCon 2023, and it has, I don't even know, a lot. There's a lot of posts from people that came that tell everybody what they liked and what they took away from. And I've gotten a lot of texts and emails back since QuailCon saying, what they enjoyed. And we've gotten some criticism, small things, easy things to fix to make it better next year. And my brain is already going on how we can make it better next year. So I'm really excited about that. One more thing I do want to mention, that Linda Easton Waller and Jasmine Bass, myself, did the Quail University. We founded that. And we put out the Quail 101 course in March, and it's going very well. And Linda had a great idea that she made these postcards, and she's letting everybody have so there's chapters in the course, right? There's a hatching chapter. That hatching chapter, she's giving like 2 weeks free of just that chapter for anybody that I send eggs to. If they sign up, they can get not the whole course, but just that chapter for free for 2 weeks, and then it gets turned off. And then you can purchase the course or not. But there's 500 of the things, the postcards with the coupon thing on it. I don't really know. I'm not tech savvy. Anyways, there's 500 that just came in. I'll be putting those in the boxes. So if you're waiting on Eggs Forest, you will be getting them this week. I think I'm getting about 97% of the orders out this week. So if you get that, you can easily just sign up for the hatching course for free. It's about, I think it's 14 days is what it's set at, that you can go through the course and finish the course before they even hatch, and then no obligation. So I thought that was a great idea as well. I think that hatch rates are going to go up even higher. So I'm very excited about that as well. And the better you guys succeed, the better I look, and everybody wins. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, I think that's all my rambling. It's been 8 minutes. Let's get into the comments. And I appreciate everybody coming. I really do. Hit the like button, support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Carrie's in the house, says hello, welcome, we're glad you're here. So and Tara's in the house. It was great to see everybody at QuailCon. I hope everyone is doing fantastic this morning. Unfortunately, I won't be making this live. Have fun, and I will be watching the replay. Thanks for stopping by, and we appreciate you. So and Tara, which is Katrina, she spoke at QuailCon on more of a natural setting for quail, like aviary raising and things like that. It went over very, very well. I've heard great things about it. So thank you very much for doing that. Joy's in the house from Western Oregon. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Erica is in the house. Says Erica and Brad Petway in South Carolina. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Obviously, Vay's Place is in the house with Ed Got Bait. They are both my moderators on here on YouTube. They do a lot for us on Facebook for the community. They're leaders in the community. They were both here either teaching a workshop or speaking on Quail 101. Both had great reviews from what I've heard, and I thank them for everything they do in the community. Buster's in the house from Oklahoma. Welcome. Glad you're here. Wyatt is in the house. Hi, Zach. Excited to get my auction wins. I had 75 out of 120 hatch on my BTAs. I love hearing that. 75. Yep, that's it. Got really confused for a minute. Great hat trick. Congratulations, Wyatt. Wyatt was August? I think it was August's 18 and under contest winner. If you don't know what that is, I did a video on that. You can type in 18 and under contest by Myshire Farm. But it tries to encourage the next generation, anyone that's 18 or under, to get involved with Coturnix, self-sufficiency, entrepreneurship, and so forth. And a lot of the kids have been in it for a long time. I know that Yusuf, which was a winner year and a half, 2 years ago maybe, he won the contest, got cage and incubator and eggs and brooders and all this stuff. We set him up, and he's been to every QuailCon. I think he's in Massachusetts, but he's been to every QuailCon. I think he's 15 now, and he's killing it. There's a lot of stories like that, so I love seeing the kids continue to go, and Wyatt is very, very involved with Coturnix quail. So congratulations, and I wish you the best. S.O. Swanson's in the house from Mississippi Delta. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Erica Willis is in the house. Welcome. S.O. Swanson says, I'm starting to unpack from QuailCon. I hear you. I was sick last week, so we actually didn't take the tents down until Tuesday. Jenna said I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that, but I was so sick. I was just so drained. But it is all cleaned up from QuailCon. I still am way behind on normal stuff, but now that I've got my energy back, I think I'll be able to do some damage this week on that. Child of God is in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Also, I've got a big surprise for everybody. Next Monday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, me, and Jenna are going on a field trip. And I'm going to be doing some YouTube videos along the way. And let's just say you're really going to want to watch those field trips. It's going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited about it. I'm very honored to be invited to go on the field trip. And I think we're going to take a lot from it. I think I'll learn a lot while we're on this field trip is what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. So stay tuned for that, and that starts next Monday. Let's see. Ed Got Bait says, good evening, everyone. Hope those who went to QuailCon had a great time, and it was nice to meet you all. Absolutely. Child of God's in the house. Good evening, all. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Jesse Mills is in the house. He was a vendor here at QuailCon. I think he's been to every QuailCon as well, which is kind of cool. Vay's Place has obviously been to every QuailCon. Ed Got Bait, it was his first year. He loved it. He promised he's coming back next year, so I'm really excited about that. It was great to spend some time with everybody. What little time I've got, but it was great. No one's talking to me. Hold on, I got to get to something. Pris K's in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Jesse Mills is not talking to me. AJ All is in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. John F. is in the house. Welcome. Vay's Place says, Yepers, Zach, next year you need to learn to delegate so you are not worn out again. It's mainly getting everything done before everybody shows up is the problem. But, you know, it is what it is. I actually had a great time this year. This is our third year doing QuailCon, and the first 2 years, I was happy we had it. We had to learn and fix a lot of things. I wanted to really do better, and this year was great. I mean, there's a little few things that we can tweak, but I really do think that I was very happy. I remember there was a group of us that sat down Sunday night after the event. The volunteers and the speakers, we kind of got together and we talked about everything, what we can do better and what we should change and this, that, and the other. And it was the first time that I sat there and thought, I'm very proud of it. Like, I'm very happy with it. Like, it really did go amazing. And that was because of all the speakers and workshop volunteers, and everybody. I mean, everybody did a great job. Everybody did a great job. Maria's in the house. Says hello, everybody. Happy to be here from Utah. I miss you guys. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. And yeah, I missed the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago was QuailCon. Last week I was sick as a dog, but I am very happy I'm back. PJ's Family Farm is in the house. Says here but driving. Welcome. Glad you're here. They were a huge part of QuailCon. We do a dinner at QuailCon on Saturday night, and we roast a pig that we raise here on the farm, and we do quail and grill that out, and we buy some sides because, you know, we can only do so much. But PJ actually, without asking, she just did it. She made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cookies for a little snack dessert at the end of the dinner. And I just thought that was really cool. She sent me a picture 4 or 5 days before QuailCon, and she said, I finally finished, and it was just picture and picture and picture of just counters full of these, literally, they looked like a Coturnix quail cookie, like they were in the shape of a Coturnix quail. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I had no idea what to say, and I was like, that's really cool. And then I was like, no, I need to say something better. And I was like, no, it's really amazing. And I was like, no, come on, Zach, use your words. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, no, seriously, that is really cool. Thank you so much. And she finally was like, yeah, I got it. Thanks. It's fine. And I was like, okay, I don't know what else to say. It was really cool though. Great community. Great community. Let's see. I am not going to be able to pronounce that name. I'm very sorry. I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to try. But Ilmer, I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, sorry. Says, where's your farm? It is in Miamisburg, Ohio. USA, Timber Ridge Quail Farm, and welcome, we're glad you're here. Timber Ridge Quail Farm's in the house. That's hello from Timber Ridge Quail Farm in Texas. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you very much. I believe you were at QuailCon as well. Glad to meet you, and hopefully you come back next year. Greg's, oh God, Cumberlakia. I'm sure I butchered that as well. I'm so sorry. Kitchen in East Tennessee is in the house, just starting. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm much better at answering quail questions than I am reading names. I'm very sorry. But if you have questions, feel free to ask. We're glad you're here. It's a great community. We've got a lot of Facebook groups as well. And we've got a lot of videos on YouTube. But if you have any specific questions, that is what we are here for. I try to answer texts and emails throughout the week. But I really do get really busy. So this is the best time to be able to answer a lot of questions at one time. But I do try to help throughout the week as well. But if you are new, I really strongly recommend you check out Quail 101 at quailuniversity.com. It's a fantastic course. It's Linda Easton Waller, which was her brainchild, and Jasmine Bass from Time and Timber, and myself. And I've kind of got the experience. We've been doing it for 12 years. We're on pace this year to ship 1 million eggs. Think about that. That is unbelievable. So it's me and my wife, and then George, which has been here for 5 years. He's part of the family now. You know what I mean? And he lives here on the farm. And it's just us three. Like, that's what we do. Papa the Builder helped us get started and build a bunch of stuff. And he's retired and wants to do his own thing. But it's just us three that do it. We're shipping 1 million eggs this year, and I'm very proud of that. It being a family-owned and operated quail farm. Everybody keeps saying that I need to hire more employees, and I keep saying I don't want to. So I'm very proud of the fact that it is our family-based business on the farm. It's really cool. I don't know why I said that. Davis Family 5's in the house from Alabama. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Pris K's in the house from Illinois. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you very much. I don't sound it, but I am feeling better, I swear. Teapot of Fury. Look at me saying that the right way the first time. Near Buffalo, New York. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Congratulations on Buffalo winning today, the Buffalo Bills. Andrea Perry is in the house from North Carolina. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Bags of Love is in the house from North Carolina as well. Welcome. We're glad you're here. JJ Willow is in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Let's see. Teapot of Fury says hello to everyone. Diana Tuttle from Tut Farms is in the house. Was here at QuailCon as well. It was great to meet you guys. Hello from Kansas. Building another cage and fun. Absolutely. Good luck to you, and I wish you all the best. Douglarian Therapy is in the house. I think I said that one correctly too. I am on fire. Oceanside, California, 5:30 and then 15:30. I don't know what that means. 5:30 and then 15:30. I don't know if those are hatch rates or dates. It's not dates. I need you to clarify a little bit more. I'm sorry. But welcome. We're really glad you're here. Douglarian Therapy's in the house, says I'm a newbie. Well, welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. That is what we're here for, and I wish you all the best. I think you're going to love the journey. Joy Guthrie is in the house. Welcome. Timber Ridge Quail Farm says, at what age can we sell fertile eggs? 2 weeks after they start laying. I do 1 week. 1 week is completely fine. To be honest with you, it's more like 3 to 5 days. But if you're selling them, it's a good practice to wait a few extra days. So if we have grow outs, which we do, the first week we just collect all of them and put them in the incubator. Now our hatch rate is a little bit lower because they just started laying, but we still get like a 60 to 70, 65. I'm going to say 65. I don't know the actual number, but somewhere around 60 to 70% hatch rate on those eggs. And then after that, it's off to the races. So 1 week once they start laying. Now, if you've got a larger cage and you've got a lot of quail in there and they start laying like on Monday and they're just trickling through, and then by that next Monday they're starting to all lay, I probably would wait 2 weeks because not all of them are a week in laying. But, you know, if you've got a couple and they're all laying around the same time, then go for it. That's a great question. Billy's in the house, says I just started. Welcome, we're glad you're here. Child of God's in the house. Northern Indiana is in the house. Welcome, we're glad you're here. John F is in the house, says, question, I have a few baby quail die. They started alive, they stayed alive flat on their back for a day before they passed. Do you have any idea what it was that killed them? It could be a lot of things. Usually if they lay on their side, it's usually a feed issue. Not always. Majority of the time it's a feed issue. Either the crumble was too fine and they ate too much and it got stuck, or they ran out of food, or it's not the right, I mean, usually it's a feed issue, but not always. It's really hard to say without all the information. If you've got more, you can feel free to share. Usually it's a feed thing. Sometimes it's failure to thrive, but usually they don't lay flat on their back for a day before they do. It's usually because they ate something. But again, without knowing all the information, I'm speculating, and it doesn't always work well. So that's just a thought. Now, I do have a video. If you type into the YouTube search bar, Why Are My Chicks Dying by Myshire Farm, I think there's 2 or 3 videos that show up. One of them is a little bit older, but luckily the information doesn't change. And it's the top 5 reasons for chick death. And you can you're set up more, so you can kind of watch that video and go, okay, that one's definitely not it. Nope, that one's not it. That one, maybe it's that, because I just don't know your setup. So that might be a better way to go, but it's usually a feed thing. Goutreau's Family Farm is in the house. Welcome, we're glad you're here. It was great spending some time with you at QuailCon. Goutreau's Family Farm is a very, very amazing family. They are very hard workers. They were here, I think they were here Thursday, and then they showed up Friday at like 8 a.m. I was in the barn, and they were just like, put us to work. And I said, okay, I'll put you to work. And I did, and I put them to work all weekend. And they didn't complain. They helped with the butcher workshop, which went off amazingly. That was a lot of people's favorite part of it. And they did a fantastic job. And I really feel like I got to know them a lot better. So I'm very blessed about that. Kent Nichols is in the house from North Carolina. Just got my 10 breeders from you this past Thursday. Awesome. They were a little late. Should have been there earlier, but I'm glad that you got them. I would assume they are all alive, well, and healthy. And obviously, if they weren't, you need to tell me so that we can get you taken care of. But I wish you all the best, and I'm glad you're doing well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feathered Connections Homestead is in the house. Says, hey, Zach. How are you doing? I'm getting better. I'm not 100%, but I am getting better. I do expect you to reach out to me this week, Kelly, Feather Connections Homestead, and we'll do that Zoom. And I am getting caught up. I'm really hoping by Thursday that I am 100% caught up and back on track. But last week I did the bare minimum, did what I had to do, got the eggs out, and did my phone orders and emails, but really didn't do anything extra. And then I started feeling better about 3 days ago, and for the next, from there until probably Thursday, it's all get your normal stuff done and then work twice as hard to get caught up on the extra stuff that you didn't get done for the past couple of weeks. But I'm hoping by Thursday I'll be back to normal. That would be fantastic. Feather Connections. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, Jonathan Holloway's in the house. It was great meeting you at QuailCon as well, from North Carolina. Lost power for 4 hours. Incubator got to 83 in the first 5 days. What do you think the chances of a hatch rate? Since it was early, I think you're still going to get a good hatch rate. It will be affected. You'll get a little bit lower. For 4 hours, I don't think it's going to affect it very much. Keep on going. I'm sure you did do this, but if anybody is out there and you lose power, the best thing to do is get a quilt or a thick blanket and wrap that incubator so that it insulates it and keeps the temperature in, the heat in, so that you can kind of wait it out. The rule of thumb, if it's over 5 hours, it's going to affect it a lot. Let me start over. This would be an easier way to say it. If the power goes out for 2 hours or less, it usually affects the hatch 0. Doesn't affect it at all, just keep going. The earlier in the hatch, the less it'll affect your hatch. So if Jonathan's hatch was, if they were on day 14 or 13 and he lost power, it would affect it more than if he was on day 5, right? So from 2 hours or less, doesn't affect it at all. From 2 to 4 hours, it'll affect it a little, but you should still get a good hatch rate. Not a decent, but a good hatch rate. From 4 to 5, you should still get a decent hatch rate. And from 5 hours on, it's really a crapshoot. I would still recommend you keep going with it, but sometimes it doesn't affect it, and sometimes it really affects it. So that's just a good rule of thumb for people to know. But I wish you all the best. Obviously, keep me posted. We'll make sure you're taken care of. And they didn't go through the post office because you picked them up at QuailCon, so that's going to help the hatch as well. Feather Connections Homestead's getting hyped and got so many big business plans coming up. There you go. We do as well. And now it's just time to get it done, right? Aaron Gutros is in the house. Good evening, friends. Watching from South Louisiana. Welcome. Love that you came to QuailCon. Can't wait to see you next year. And hopefully, I'm planning on going to Louisiana for my supply run in November, December. Hopefully we can schedule something where we can meet up halfway or something in Louisiana, not halfway from Ohio to Louisiana. I'll be in Louisiana. So hopefully we can meet up and have some dinner or something. I'd love to be able to do that. Egg Guy Bait says, Zach, highlight QuailCon stats and stuff. I don't have all that information on me. It's all in the barn, and I rushed up here with just my iPad, so I don't have anything to talk about. But I will be doing a video on it, hopefully this week as soon as I start feeling better. Julie Codd's in the house. What do you think about the videos on sexing eggs by rounding being female and pointing being male? Has anyone done it to see if it is accurate? It is not accurate. It is a myth, and a horrible one at that. If I could decide what would hatch out, male or female, from just the egg shape, I would be making so much more money. So much more. It would be awesome. I've talked to some hatcheries, and it's not a thing. It can't be a thing. Be cool if it was, but no, it's not a thing. But man, that would make the business, whoo-wee. I'd always be sold out. Child of God says, oh, where'd you go? Have a batch of auction eggs in the incubator now. Awesome, good luck. Obviously, keep me posted. I did get this question before. So we offer a 50% hatch rate. Now we average a 74%, but we average a 50%. And that's whatever reason. Power goes out, incubator fails, user mistakes, we don't know the cause, shipping error, whatever the case may be. We offer 50, we'll give you 50% refund off the egg. So we offer a 50% hatch rate guarantee. That also includes the auction. So if you win auctions, that 50% guarantee is still included. I don't know if it's necessarily a great business decision to offer a 50% hatch rate, but someone's got to pay for it, right? So if your incubator goes out, or you lose power, or the post office just destroys half the eggs, whatever the case may be, someone's got to pay for it. So it's either you pay for it or I pay for it. So we offer the 50% off, 50% refund on the hatching eggs, and I feel like that's fair. So whatever you paid in shipping is what we pay in shipping, and then the eggs we'll split 50-50. I feel like that's fair, and that's why we do that. So that includes anything that we sell: auctions, special invoice, website, eBay, whatever. Just so you know. Timmy's in the house. Tim from Mississippi. Do quail get bumblefoot? Also got some with swollen feet. They can. It completely depends on the environment. The best way to prevent that is using hard coated wire. I'm so sorry. Coated wire on the flooring. That will help a ton. We have our brooders, and last year we tore our hardware wire out and put plastic coated wire on, and there is less than 3%, 5%. We're going to say 5%. I got a lot of quail. We're going to say there's less than 5% in all of our cages that have bumblefoot. When we do find it, we just call them. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't want it in the cage. It looks painful. But they'll still lay for you and everything like that. I mean, you can try to treat for it and try to, use medicine and use a needle and poke it and get the infection out. And there's a lot of things you can do. But the big thing that we should know is how to prevent it altogether. And that would be getting the plastic coated wire. It is more expensive, but it almost eliminates, not 100%, but almost eliminates bumblefoot altogether. And they're happier on it. Julie Kahn says, hey, thanks. I don't know what I did, but you're welcome. Gutros Family Farms in the house. You're not talking to me. Joy is in the house. Question, what if you get shipped the wrong eggs after the auction? Do you want the hatch rate on the type of chicks I got? Yep, absolutely. And if you got the wrong eggs, then I need to fix that too. So yeah, either way, you need to let me know. ELOAA Ministries is in the house. Going forward, I'm just going to say Ministries. But they're in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Feather Connection says, hey, everybody in the Quail fam. Absolutely. S.O. Swanson says, Zach, I know we did the 1800 contest at QuailCon. Should you announce it here so everyone else knows? That would be a great idea, except for I don't have that information in front of me. It's on my emails, and I can't pull my emails up because I'm reading the comments on my laptop, which is where I get my emails. So that'd be a great idea, except for I didn't write it down. I literally had no time today. But it is a great idea. Maria says, really, I wish I knew that. What is the Facebook page again? If you're talking about the auction page, it's called the Myshire Farm Quail Egg Auctions. I don't know why I made it so long. Oh well, I should have just said Myshire Auctions. But we don't do live quail on there. Live quail is only available on our website. We had an auction page, and then the eggs were fine, but as soon as I auctioned live quail, they shut me down, and that was really annoying because I didn't know. And then I put 2 and 2 together and then started a new group, which has about 9,000 members again, which is cool, but we were up to like 20,000 members, so that's annoying. And then I only do eggs and no issues, so that's cool. Carrie Leonard's in the house, says hello, welcome, we're glad you're here. Jaguar Andy says, hello, I recently ordered some birds with y'all. Thank you so much for them. I'm excited to have them and I'm looking forward to their production. Absolutely. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you are waiting for them, they're going to be about 2 more weeks. We pretty much sold almost everything we had at QuailCon, so we do have them that hatch, but they're just a little too young to ship, so I'm waiting a couple more weeks until we can make sure that they're good to go. But if you did already get them, because we did ship the last of them this past Monday, and then everybody that ordered this week or next week will go out the following week. But if you already got them, awesome. If you didn't get them, they're coming. But I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I'm glad you're here. JJ Willow's in the house. Good to see everybody here. Absolutely. Blue Garden is in the house from Michigan. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Greg's Kitchen is in the house, just starting here in East Tennessee. Well, welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And we're glad you're part of the community. Teapot of Fury says, nice to finally catch a live. Absolutely. We're glad you're here. It's a great place to hang out and just chill for a while with like-minded people. Unfortunately, I got to be your face, but, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, you know? Let's see. Child of God says, question, when figuring out hatch percentage, do you first subtract the non-viable eggs? It's a great question, and no. So there's one way to do it, and then I do it a little bit differently with shipped eggs. So what you should do is what goes in the incubator is what you count. And what hatches out is what you count. That's it. You don't count viable, non-viable, you know, completely fertile but didn't hatch, completely developed and didn't hatch, started developing and ended. You don't worry about any of that. You put in 60 and 30 hatch, that's a 50% hatch rate. Now, that's how you should do it on your own eggs. The way I do it is the whole big reason why I do a 50% hatch rate. And you'll hear a lot of my haters say that it's not a real 50% hatch rate. Okay, they don't offer a 50% hatch rate, and I do, and this is why. So, I am very concerned on you getting your money worth out of what you bought, right? So, in my eyes, you spent your hard-earned money on this new project of self-sufficiency or continuing your growth in self-sufficiency or adding to your covey of quail, whatever the case may be. You bought eggs or live birds from us. That's your hard-earned money, right? Okay, so I want to make sure that you get what you paid for, right? So the average hatch rate on shipped eggs in the USA, and that's chicken, turkey, peacock, quail, all kinds of eggs, any eggs, all eggs. The average is a 50% hatch rate. That's like the national standard of hatched shipped eggs. Shipped hatched eggs. Shipped eggs for hatching. So the reason I do it a little bit differently is I go off of what you ordered. So if you order 25, I actually send you 30. If you order 50, I actually send you 60. I send you extras because I don't trust the post office, so I need to send you a few extra. But my 50% hatch rate guarantee is on what you bought, not what you put in. Now, I know that's a little confusing, but my main focus on that 50% hatch rate guarantee is because I want you to get your money's worth of what you bought. So that's what I consider what you bought, right? But if you're hatching your own eggs, or even if you want to do it on the shipped eggs, it's whatever you put in and whatever hatches. So if you buy 110 and 55 hatch, 50% hatch rate. If you put in 190 hatch, 90% hatch rate. And then you don't worry about anything else. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I might have confused you more than helped. Sorry. Maria's in the house, says hello. Welcome. We're glad you're here. No one's talking to me. Teapot of Fury says, okay, great, thanks. Not a problem. Don't know what I did, but happy to help. Baseplay says, Zach, he was talking about the winner you announced at QuailCon as it was the first Sunday of the month. Yeah, I don't have all the information on there. Sorry, not prepared. Billy's in the house. I ordered some eggs from you. I'm just waiting for them to come. I'm anxious. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here, and good luck. They will be shipping this week. I literally think there's like 7% of our orders that do not go out this week. It'd be very unlikely that you're part of that 7%. In fact, I think they're all at the bottom. So like if you hadn't ordered in the past 2 days, then you'll go out sometime this week. But what we do is, so Jenna does homeschool and school is back in. She does the shipping. Well, she does the printing of the labels. I do the barn, right? So I'm going to send her a ship list tomorrow morning for the entire week because I know how many eggs I get every day and what to project. She's going to print all the labels tomorrow, and then every day I go down to the barn, collect the eggs, and ship everything out that's ready to go. And then so like if there's for example, there's 240 Egyptians that I get out this week. I get 240 eggs a day from the Egyptians. So that's cool. So like tomorrow, one of those orders goes out. The next day, another order goes out. And the next day, another order goes out. So they're shipped same day as laid. I'm very, very particular on that. Like, scary particular on that. Scary particular. Like, if I get 31 eggs of pansy fees, which I get more, but I'm just using that as an example, and I've got a 30 count to get out, that other egg either goes into a mixed order or I put it into the incubator. Like, I won't start another order. I'm really weird, but it works for us, so they leave me alone, but they do make fun of me. I hear it. Maria says, hello from Twin Oaks Farms, North Canton, Ohio. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Let's see, JJ Willow says, thank you, Zach and family, for being our hosts. Well, I'm very happy that you came, QuailCon, and I hope that you can make it next year. And I've already got some big plans that we're making it bigger and better next year, so I'm really excited. Dragon Girl's in the house. My first order is in the incubator, locked down in 7 days. Very exciting. Congratulations. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I think you're going to do great. Good luck. Greg's Kitchen says, what do you think of letting silkies hatch quail eggs? I know that some people do it. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like a normal thing, but some people, I wouldn't say it's rare either. You know what I mean? They'll do it. I've heard great success for the people that do it. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think it's, if you've got the silkies and they're broody and they're not laying on their own eggs, then go for it. I think it's a cool idea. Bob Cole's in the house, says good evening all. Welcome, we're glad you're here. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm is in the house, homesteading in the city, love it. Why do Coturnix quail lose feathers? Usually it's because they are overheated. So their body heat is ridiculous. I should really find out what their body heat is. Like, I should know that information, I just don't. But it's a lot. So if they're overcrowded in a brooder, which they might not, here's the thing. We've got large brooders, right? But we can put up to 100 chicks in that brooder. And that's 6 chicks per square foot, which is completely fine. That is what I consider to be the standard, right? Okay. We leave them in there from day old till they're 3 weeks old, and then we move them out into cages. Then we change it from 6 chicks to square foot to 3 quail per square foot, right? But they don't use that entire brooder. So you really got to watch them because they like to really be together. So you might have enough space where it's, you know, you think that they have plenty of room, but they'll overheat and then they'll start picking their feathers out of their back. So it's usually an overheating issue. It's either not enough circulation, overcrowded, or just a bizarre heat wave that they got super hot. So make sure it's 6 chicks per square foot from day old to 3 weeks old. After that, it's 3 quail per square foot, 5 hens to every 1 male. And if it is super hot where you are, you can take a couple of bottled waters, put them in your freezer, and then every time you go feed and water, just put a bottled water in there, and then switch it out every time you feed and water, and they can kind of lean up against it and peck at it and kind of cool off a little bit, and that'll help them a little bit as well as far as the weather goes. Hopefully that was some good information. I did do a video maybe 2 months ago, what is too hot for your quail? If you type that into the YouTube search bar, make sure you type in by Myshire Farm, because YouTube doesn't like me and they never recommend my crap. But if you type in what is too hot for quail by Myshire Farm, that video will show up, and it's got reasons why they would be losing their feathers, reasons why they would be too hot, what is too hot, and remedies on fixing that issue. That would probably help you more. Erica Petway says, how many jumbo Coternes quail can fit comfortably in the Wynola Myshire edition? It's a great question, and I don't exactly know the answer. It's 3 quail per square foot. I'm pretty sure it's 15 and 3 to be comfortable. I think it's 15 hens and 3 males. If you're not using males, you can go to 20. But I would measure the cage. But I know for a fact we've had 15 and 3 in there with plenty of room, and they've done great. You might be able to do a little bit more, but keeping that 5-to-1 ratio and the 3 quail per square foot, I think it's 15 and 3 is what I think it is. 15 hens and 3 males. I gotta take a drink, guys. I'm so sorry. Great questions tonight. I love all the questions, and I love all the feedback, and I love all the communication. I just gotta take a drink. All right. Billy's in the house, says hi. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Teapot of Fury says, my button quail have great hatch rate. Coternes, not as good. That is weird, because buttons are much harder to hatch out. So you're doing something right. Wyatt Higgs says, I'll be at QuailCon next year. We can't wait to see you. Nuno's in the house from Massachusetts. Welcome. We're glad you're here. No one's talking to me. Hold on. Billy says, what happens at QuailCon? It's a 2-day event here at Myshire Farm. The first day we do workshops like a butcher workshop and a quail for profit workshop and a crafting workshop and master classes of Quail 101 and aviary settings, and I do tours of the barn, and Papa the Builder does tours of the farm and all the stuff that he's built throughout the years. We have a dinner that night. It's a lot of fun. We have vendors and all kinds of cool stuff. And then it's more of a relaxed day on Sunday, but we have speakers, and then, we sell live quail and hatching eggs that you can pick out to take home, and we just have a great time. So it's a 2-day like convention, like a quail fest kind of thing. It's kind of cool. It's our 3rd year that we did it. We'll be doing it next year, which will be our 4th, and we've gotten much better at it. So next year should be off the hook. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm Homesteading in the City says almost a year old. If they're almost a year old, then I didn't think about this before, they could be molting, which you'll give them about 2 to 3 weeks and they'll grow their feathers back out. So it might not be a heat issue. If they're a year old, they're probably molting. What I do recommend for everybody, just so you don't have to go through all of that, because when they molt, they stop laying, and then they don't lay as well, and the eggs aren't as good, and blah, blah. So we recommend that you switch out your males every 9 months to keep your fertility high, and you switch out your hens every 1.5 years. So because they're a year old, most likely it's more of a molt issue. So everything I said about the heat and overcrowding and their body heat was just pointless to you, because that's probably not the cause. I'm so sorry. I should have thought of that first. But because they're molting, I would start collecting those eggs once they start laying again to hatch out to replace those quail. It's just a thought. No one's talking to me. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Blue Gardens in the house from Michigan. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Sundial Fragrance says hello from Houston, Texas. How is everyone? Welcome. We're glad you're here. Time and Timber's in the house says hello, Quail Fam and Fanatics. Welcome. Time and Timber was here. They did the butcher workshop on Saturday. They spoke on Sunday. They're a big part of Quail University, and they're a huge part of the community. So glad you're here. Douglarian Therapy says, what do you love most about raising quail? It's kind of a long answer, so I'm going to try to talk really fast. Long story short, I grew up in the city. Concrete jungle, didn't raise anything. We had a dog growing up, didn't even take care of that dog very well. My mom did. Dog was taken care of very well. Part of the family. treated better than I was, but I didn't really do much. My mom did. Okay. Didn't want everybody to be like, oh my God, you're a dog hater. Nope. Love dogs. We have 3. They're treated better than I am as well. There's a trend there. Anyways, so I grew up in the city. Didn't have anything else except for a dog, and wasn't even mine. You know, I was a city boy. I mean, my whole life. Anyways, my wife wasn't ever living on a farm, but she had some land growing up, and she had like a pet pig at one time, which is just still kind of weird to me, but whatever. So anyways, we had the opportunity to move here to the farm, and I knew that that's what she always wanted, and I said, well, I'll just keep working for the farm, or working to pay for your farm stuff, and you can have your farm, and everybody's happy. And the longer we were here, the more I realized that it wasn't just living on the farm. I needed to be present on the farm. That's what she wanted. And the more I got involved, we had meat chickens that she bought, and I hate meat chickens. I hate chickens. I'm anti-chicken, everyone. I do not enjoy them. Especially meat chickens. They're gross, they are smelly, they are awful, and they eat too much, and I don't like butchering them. So it just was not fun for me. So I begged Jenna to find something else, and I said, let's just find something else to produce meat and eggs for you that's not so bad. And so she got Coturnix quail. And so I know this is a long answer, but long story short, the thing that I love most about Coturnix quail is it is a fantastic first step in self-sufficiency, because they grow so fast. They lay eggs in just 6 weeks. Their incubation period is just 2 weeks long. They're very easy to take care of. There's going to be some bumps and learning curves along the way, but as far as all the other farm animals and self-sufficient animals, Coturnix quail is the easiest, hands down, right? You put them in a cage, you feed and water them every day, and they'll lay eggs for you, and you can eat the extra males and have extra meat. I mean, it's just perfect. You can have them in the city. It's great. And so my passion is actually spreading the word of self-sufficiency through quail to get people more involved with self-sufficiency, because I didn't know that living on a farm and being or working towards being self-sufficient was a thing. Like, I thought it was just in the old Western movies, and no one did that anymore. Like, we just got our eggs and milk from a grocery store, and no questions asked. Like, it never came to mind. And so now that we've been on the farm for a long time, like, that's crazy thinking. Like, okay, well, why didn't you ever think about where the eggs came from? Like, what are you? But a lot of people are like that because it's just not part of their life. Like, they've never been experienced to it. You know what I mean? And so I really do think that if everybody gave Coturnix quail a shot on being a little bit more self-sufficient and taking a little bit more responsibility for where their food and their eggs and their meat and their livelihood comes from, I really do think it would interest and encourage and inspire them to go further with that. And I think that if we get further with that, then our society as a whole gets better. I know this is a weird answer to your question, but the long story short is I love them most because I think that everybody can raise them, and it's a great way to get people involved with doing more and more and more. Because if they get successful with Coturnix quail raising, and they get eggs and meat, and they have that pride and that excitement, then maybe next year they say, hey, let's add some rabbits, or let's add a little garden in the backyard, or let's add, you know what I mean? And then the more and more they do that, the less and less dependent we are on big companies and going to the grocery store to buy eggs and meat. And all of a sudden, prices aren't so high because we don't need you anymore. You know what I mean? We're doing it ourselves. And then there's a sense of purpose and a sense of excitement and a sense of pride. And then we start working as a community. So then the community gets involved. And so, like, we have land here where we could have cows, right? But the person down the road might not have the opportunity to do cows, but they might do, I hate gardening. So they might say, hey, I've got enough in the back to do gardening for my family and yours. If you give me like a half a pig, I'll give you half the garden. And then all of a sudden, our community is working together for all of us to be better. I am on my soapbox right now, and I am very sorry about all of that, but that is why I really love Coturnix quail. That's why we started the quail business. That's why everything. It was just something that I got involved with, and then I thought, man, I didn't even know that this was a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know, right? And so I'm really, really encouraged and motivated to really just spread the word that, hey, if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to. Like, for example, my mom and my grandma, okay, we sell over 1 million eggs a year. If you know me, you know that I might not be perfect or anywhere close to it, but I really do have a passion to help people start their journey with self-sufficiency and start their adventure with Coturnix quail. Like, I really do have a passion for that. With that being said, my mom and my grandma, which I love to death, my mom is very important to me, have never tried quail eggs. They've never eaten a quail in their life. They won't do it. They're not interested. It's not for them. And that's fine. No judgment. It's not for you. It's not a big deal. It's not going to be for everybody. But I do think that it is for a lot of people. And they just don't know that it's there. You know what I mean? Like, they go to their city ordinance and they say, oh, you can't have chickens. Okay, well, I can't have eggs and meat, I guess. Oh, nope, you can. It's quail. Oh, I can. Okay, great. Let's try that. Great. Try it. And then I would say a majority of people would continue to do it. And then they continue to just add on to it. So I'm going to get off that whole answer. I think that was a great question. I don't know if you guys like that answer or not. It was really long and I apologize, but that is why I love Coturnix quail. Whew, that was a long answer. Bet you didn't expect that. Oh, I got it. Look at me. I was working on our bedroom the other day because Jenna wants to remodel it because she hates me. And I left the sliding door open because I kept bringing in drywall. And we are infested with flies. And I got in a lot of trouble. Oops. Anywho, John F. says, question, what is the best spice for quail meat? Don't know. I put salt and pepper on them and let them go. Sometimes we barbecue them. I'm not very picky when I eat. It's a good question. I don't know the answer. Let's see. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm says, I raise my quail inside my garage. There you go. We started in a little lean-to off of a barn, and then we moved into our garage, and then we built the barn once we felt comfortable doing the quail business. So I think that's a great idea. Daniel's in the house from Pennsylvania, waiting for my first 50 eggs from you. I'm pretty sure I just marked your name. Like, you go out Tuesday, but don't hold me to it. I think you go out this week. About 95% of our orders, 97% of our orders go out this week. So they should be going out this week. You'll probably be getting a tracking number email from Jenna tomorrow. She'll be printing out all the orders for the week because she's got homeschool with 3 kids for the whole week, and she's done after that. And I'm terrified to ask her for anything, so I just have her print all the labels on Monday, and then I just go down and collect the eggs every day and ship them out when they're collected. But they will be laid same day as shipped. Douglarian says, how soon do you take your quail out the brooder and put outside? It's a good question. It really depends on where you're at. So long story short is if they're going inside somewhere. So if they're brooding in your house and they're going to your garage or your shed, you can do it at 3 weeks old. If they're going outside, I would recommend 4 weeks. Now it also depends on the weather as well. So like if it's mid-summer, like if it's hotter than dirt outside, 3 weeks will be completely fine. If it's dead of winter, 4, maybe 5 weeks. It all depends on what the weather is. But they're fully feathered at 3 weeks old. They shouldn't need any more supplemental heat after that. But again, they are small, so if you're putting them outside, then probably 4 weeks old would be your best practice. Tony's in the house from Toronto. Welcome. We're glad you're here. A lot of great questions tonight, guys, and a lot of new people, a lot of people that's not been here for a while. I love it. Very excited about this. I really do think that our community is growing, and I'm loving it. Tony from Toronto's in the house. Hopefully, I'd love to see you at QuailCon next year. We had 2 people come from Canada this year, and it was great meeting them both. I'm very excited about it. Lene Hansen's in the house from Texas. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Time and Timber Homestead's in the house. Ed Got Bait says, like, subscribe, the notification bell. Absolutely. Support the channel by hitting the like button. I greatly appreciate it. I probably lost half of you by that rant on why I love quail, and I apologize. But whoever's still here, if you can hit the like button and support the channel, it helps the channel grow and makes me feel good. Teapot of Fury says, hello all. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Nikki James is in the house. Welcome. Nikki and Brad are my left and right hands at QuailCon. They've been here every year, and I don't know how I would do QuailCon without them, and I love them very dearly. Chiefs #1 fan is in the house. Eesh, they didn't look great today. They won, but slow start. Hello, Zach. Has anyone won the 18 under contest for September? They did. We announced it at QuailCon. I should probably have written that information down to share it, but I was busy, so I forgot. I'm sorry. Doug Larian says, put it was my fault, hatched total eggs. If you gave me hatch rates on here, I did not write them down. So if you could give me those again, I will be happy to write them down. But I did not see those. I'm very sorry. S.O. Swanson's in the house. Michael is in the house. Do you see any... where'd you go? There you are. Okay. You moved. I don't know how. Michael says, do you see any animosity amongst jumbo whites and browns? Seems like my whites have been picked into death. It's a great question. And no, but... So quail can see color. So we work with the University of Kentucky, and there was another one, Syracuse. And they do studies, and they use our quail for their research studies, or some of their research studies, because quail can see color, where rats can't. So long story short is if you put a color, like browns or Tibetans or scarlets or whatever, with a pure white quail, if something gets on that white, whether it's, stuck food or poop or a scratch or whatever, they look at that and they'll start pecking at it because it looks different than the rest of it. And then once they see blood, once they see red, they are vultures. Like, they are like bulls. And I know that's a myth that the bulls see the red and hate the red. I get it. But you know that, how the story goes. So yeah, once they see red on that quail, then they destroy it. They are very evil in that way. It's usually a best practice to keep the whites separate. Now, with that being said, once they are about 10 weeks old, you put them together and it's like they're more mature and they don't do it as much. But when they're growing out, you got to keep those whites away, because 3-4 week olds, they will go to town on whites. And it's mainly because they see something that doesn't match the rest of them, and so they're curious, and then they peck them, and then there's blood, and then the quail dies. Sorry, that's just how it goes. But yeah, that would be the answer. Orlando's in the house. Says hello to everyone on watching from New York. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Shannon, the Jeep Girl's in the house. I started with 16 quail. In the past year, I've lost 10 of them in 2-tier cage. What's the best way to merge them all in one tier? That's a great question. I'm sorry you've lost so many. Hopefully you figured out what the cause was and you fixed it. But long story short is you just need to disorient them. Now, I do have a video on that if you want to watch in depth about it, because I'm just going to give you the bullet points. But if you type in introducing new quail to an existing flock by Myshire Farm on YouTube, that video will show up. It's not very long, but it goes in depth on what you need to do. But long story short is you just need to disorient them. So you take let's say you have 2 cages of a few in each. You take cage 1 out, put them in a small box, and then cover the lid, no, complete darkness. And then you take the other ones out, open the box, put them in, and cover them in complete darkness. About an hour to 2 hours later, you open up the box, you put them all in one cage. They're disoriented. No one has any territorial issues because it's like a new cage to them. They're not the brightest things in the world. And then you're off to the races. So you just got to disorient them. A lot of people say that, it's better to do it at night. But really, if which is kind of true, you just got to put them in the dark. So if you put them all in the box with no light and leave them in there for like an hour, you put them back in, there's hardly ever any issues. Let's see. Time and Timber says, just listening for a bit, building a barn with hubby. I will pop in and out of the chat. Always love listening to the fun conversations on the live stream. Well, thanks for showing up. Doug Larian says, yeah, I hatched 5 out of 30 eggs. Well, that is not good. Hopefully you reached out to us for our refund. Yeah, if you didn't, make sure you reach out to us and we'll get you taken care of. And if you can let me know what kind you ordered, I'd greatly appreciate it. Shelly Barr's in the house from South Carolina. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Mike from Zionsville. Just started my second hatch from my initial eggs I purchased from Myshire. Very cool. Congratulations. You're well on your way. And like I said in my whole rant earlier, it doesn't take hardly any time at all to build up your numbers, and it's just so rewarding along the way. It's really cool. I could really talk about it for a long time. Lene Hansen's in the house. I bought 3-week-old chicks a month ago. Lost both males to the extreme heat we had. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you have extra males. Usually there's always extra males. And sorry you lost some. But I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Kenneth Carter's in the house from New Mexico. Hatched 62 out of the 100 eggs. All growing great. Love to hear that. Congratulations. Kenneth, if you're still on, if you let me know what kind you ordered, I greatly appreciate it. But congratulations on the hatch and good luck going forward. Lene says, my hens now 6 to 7 weeks have not started to lay yet. Now it has cooled somewhat down. Should they start to lay now? It doesn't have anything to do with the weather. It has to do with lighting. They need 16 to 18 hours of light a day to lay consistently throughout the year. So make sure you have 16 to 18 hours of supplemental light. And it could be, just an overhead light, or it could be as simple as Christmas lights around the cage. That'll be enough light for them, but they do need 16 to 18 hours of light a day to lay. No one's talking to me. Brad's in the house. Says, hello everyone. Welcome. Glad you're here. Eric Willis says, my dad was very impressed with Lane. He was telling everyone who would listen about him butchering the quail. There you go. Yeah, we had a lot of great kids here really participating and getting involved with self-sufficiency, and it's absolutely amazing to see. And I have a feeling Lane is going to show his dad up pretty soon. He's on it, man. Lene says, I put in a string of small lights, but not sure if it is enough. I have them set to turn on from 4 to 9 a.m. Yeah, I would put the lights on from 4, I don't know, whatever 16 hours is. Leave the lights on for 16 hours a day. It's not going to hurt, and that will fix your problem. Egg Got Bait says, Zach, have you filmed anything with the FLIR camera? I have. We started that, and it'll take a little bit, but the hatch goes 3 weeks. But yeah, we did start that. JJ Willow's in the house. My hubby is still talking about Dennis's Papa the Builder's pressure cookers. LOL. There you go. He's got a lot of inventions. Some of them are good. Some of them are crazy. And some of them are amazing. But he does a lot, that's for sure. Erica Willis says, I know I watched him. That was part of what my dad was telling people. There you go. Let's see. Feather Connection says, jealous of Gutros. Can you do a supply run out west to Utah? None of my suppliers are anywhere near that way. I've got Iowa, I've got Indiana, and I've got Louisiana. Utah's pretty far. Kenneth Carr says, I did take Quail 101. The pearls hatched out great. The silver's not well. Jumbo okay. The Rosetta about half. Not bad. Thanks for letting me know. And I'm glad you took the course. And I wish you all the best. I think you got a pretty good hatch rate overall. Lene says, thank you for all the advice. I just put 31 eggs I bought into lockdown today. I'm excited to see how many will hatch. Well, good luck. And if you have any questions about the hatching process, let us know. Gouger's Family Farm says, Aaron's with the customer right now, but get in touch. When you head down our way. Absolutely. Our QuailCon eggs go into lockdown Tuesday night. There you go. Wish you all the best. Obviously, keep me posted on those as well. Priske says, I'm excited you guys have the Quail Academy. I intend to take it next time I order. There you go. Yeah, it's a great course. So if you don't know about it, check out quailuniversity.com. It's a fantastic course and very, very worth it. Very worth it. Just in the better hatches and less quail dying. I mean, it's worth it. KP Heathens in the house. Greetings from Louisiana. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Kenneth says, I did have storms come and kicked my humidity up to 80. Thought that might have hurt. It depends on when and how long. If it was during the incubation process, it could have drowned a lot of the eggs or some of the eggs. And it also depends on how long it was up there as well. Glenn's in the house from Michigan. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Dave Martin's in the house. Says, hello, everybody. New sub and possible quail guy. Well, good luck to you. I wish you the best. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. It's a fantastic community, and we're glad you're a part of it now. Jonathan says, thanks. Is there a way to feather sex white chest birds? There is not. You have to vent sex, except for the jumbo white wings. You can kind of tell on those, but it's really hard to explain. But everything else that's white, you would have to vent sex at 6 weeks old. Glenn says, just built some quail pins today. Awesome. Good luck. I wish you all the best. Very sorry. Daniel says, my first live. Do I win free eggs? LOL. Just kidding. Thanks for all the information. You get a bunch of free information in a great community, but no free eggs. I don't do free eggs. I'm sorry. But I'm glad you're here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we will be happy to help you on your adventure with quail. Glenn says, I'm looking for some gray jumbo or pearl whites. That is two different colors. So there's whites and then there's pearls, but there's not pearl whites. And then gray jumbos don't exist yet. And it would be very hard to get gray jumbos to exist. The problem is you can get anything to jumbo size, but can you continue to make them jumbo? So like, for example, Rosettas and Golds, and Tibetans, really, really easy to get to 11, 12 ounces, like really easy. But within 2 generations, they go back to 8 or 9 ounces. Like they just do not keep up the weight. They're just not made for it. So like the gray jumbos, I would assume you're talking about like Fab Fees. Making them jumbos would be fairly easy, but keeping them at that size, especially since they have the fee gene, it's very, very unlikely. So just keep that in mind. Rmojo23 says, hello, welcome. Has anyone ever tested bird production eggs weight between indoor and outdoors? I have not. I think that'd be a good experiment, but I have not done that. I've always kept them inside. Well, we experimented with some outside, and it is not for me. Way too much work, and you got to worry about predators, and then you got to, with cages, you do rollouts and they roll down and you just collect the eggs every day. And with aviaries, they'll lay an egg in one corner and then another one will lay over there. And it's just not for me. It's not my thing. Bob Wolf says, what is sauerkraut? What causes it? Is it contagious? It is not contagious. And I don't know if I've ever heard of that in quail. In chickens, it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing in quail. I've never seen it in quail, and I've never heard about it in quail. But it is in chickens, and it's long story short, the feed and what they're eating, and they're not getting enough grit to mix with that, and so it has issues. But with quail, I've never heard of that issue. So I don't think that is an issue in quail. Katie says, do you ship to Canada? Not yet. But they got some big things in the works. So stay tuned. But not yet. Not yet. Let's see. Foster Farms is in the house. Says, hi all, late but here. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. They spoke at QuailCon for a little bit as well about quail for profit. Glad they were here. And hopefully they'll be back next year as well. Jennifer says, I got some birds at QuailCon. Oh dear God, where'd you go? And put what all thought were males in a box to separate them to give my gals a break. Someone kept laying eggs. It was amusing to the people I tell. I will get it. It takes some time, but that's okay. It's an easy process to figure out. And it just takes a little bit of time, but yeah. There you go. Well, I'm glad that the hen made it. Glenn says, winter is coming to Michigan. Anything special I need to do with the birds outside? Nope. Just make sure they can get out of the elements. Rain, snow, sleet, wind, whatever. The weather doesn't really affect quail. It's the elements. Rain, wind, snow, sleet, whatever. So as long as they can get out of the elements when it's bad out, they'll do completely fine. Not a big deal at all. It's a great question. Jennifer says, the males in the box kept laying eggs. Right. It's happened to me. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. Jennifer says, we'll still laugh and talk about it. Those parts are very small. They are. Caleb says, do you want hatch rates for eggs bought at QuailCon once they hatch? Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. If you bought eggs, I want to know the hatch rate. They still traveled, and yeah, I still want to know. I mean, we'll still guarantee the 50% hatch rate as well, so yeah. Oh dear God. Jennifer says, I just built my Dale's Quail's large brooder got the 120 eggs I got at QuailCon. Awesome. Well, good luck. Wish you all the best, and they should be hatching soon, so keep me posted on that. Jamie is in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Jamie Sharton. I hope I said that correctly. Glad you're here. Sundial Fragrance says, I tried hatching quail eggs with a silky frizzle, and it didn't work out. She crushed the egg shortly after peeping, so the incubator is my only reliable option. There you go. Somebody asked about that earlier. I've seen a lot of success with it. Obviously, there could be things that go wrong with it. But, I mean, if you've got extra eggs, it'd kind of be a cool project just to try out. Jennifer's in the house, so just candled all my eggs. That was an experience. It takes some time. If you're going to candle quail eggs, there's a lot of ways to raise quail. You can raise them in cages. You can raise them in aviary. You can raise them in a quail tractor, like a chicken tractor. You can make your own feed. You can buy feed. You can customize your feed. You can put them all together. You can separate all the colors. There's a lot of different ways to raise quail. But there's only one way to candle eggs, and that is to use a oh, I've got one in here. Look at me. I don't even know why. Oh, because I did that experiment and never took it down. An Incubrite candler. So when we started long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, we bought all kinds of chicken candlers and tried to use our phone, and it was fine, but kind of difficult. And then I just bought this one, just luckily. And this is, this is like absolutely amazing for quail eggs. The hole is big enough where it fits perfectly. It shines all the way through. It's not too big. This is what you want, Incubrite candler. I do buy them in bulk on our website, and you can buy it on there, but you can buy it on Amazon as well, and they're the same price. I mean, I don't make any money off of them, but I thought it would be cool to be able to offer it to people, because this is the only way to truly candle quail eggs, because they don't make a Caternix quail egg candler, I can tell you that. But this is perfect for it. Glenn says, thanks. They get all of that, just new pins with closed-in area. There you go. SO Swanson says, quail body heat around 106 degrees. Thanks. Probably should have known that, but thanks for letting me know. I did not know that. Jennifer Fala says, a lot of movement and some just empty. Sad for me. Celadons too. Sorry to hear that. I wish you all the best, and hopefully some hatch for you. Johnny Newbie says, North Carolina, third hatch, 34 out of 56 of my own eggs. Very happy with that. Killed a snake. It got in my cage. Killed 2. Sorry to hear that, but 34 out of 56, that's great. Congratulations. So you're definitely doing it, and, you got the predator out of the way, and you should be off to the races now. Bob says, why would a hen lay an egg that looks like a white membrane and soft? What causes it? If it's not every day and it's just a random one, then don't worry about it. It's just they didn't get the right nutrients for that day, and their printer was offline, and it's not a big deal. If it keeps happening daily, then it's usually a calcium deficiency that you just need to add some calcium and they'll be fine. But if it's a one-off, don't do anything. Just let them go, and it'll be fine. Jennifer says, I had a couple membranes this week. Maybe lack of calcium, stress, change of weather. Yeah, those are great answers. The change of weather is probably not it. Usually that only happens in severe. But, I mean, it could be. It depends on where you're at. Stress, absolutely, that could be an option. Usually the stress is they just won't lay at all, but it does happen like that, and then the lack of calcium. So yeah, you're completely on the right track, 100%. Good job. Foster Farm says, better question would be, what doesn't happen at QuailCon? There you go. Hey, what happens at QuailCon does not stay at QuailCon. I've got too big of a mouth. Chris Derry Roselrod says, QuailCon was a lot of fun. Absolutely, I'm glad you were able to come, and hopefully you can make it next year. Jennifer says, oh, the Celadons were full. Sorry, I'm typing so fast. I'm looking forward to the Celadon hatch. Well, I wish you all the best, and good luck. My favorite was the butchering class. I had to butcher one of mine because of a mating accident. He almost pulled her head off. I had to butcher, and I knew how. There you go. Yes. Yeah, you learn a lot at QuailCon. It's very, very cool, and they do a fantastic job at the butcher workshop, for sure, at QuailCon, and it's fantastic. You really take a lot of really, really good stuff away. John says, what cheaper incubator would you recommend for raising quail eggs? I plan to buy some jumbo courtesy quail eggs soon. I like the Little Giant, and if you really want a good quality, you probably go with a smaller incubator. Brincia is a great incubator. Their brand is amazing, but the Little Giant is really good for their money. You can fit, I think, 120 quail eggs in there. I did do a video on it. Before you purchase it, I do recommend you watching that video. It's under the playlist Quail Product Reviews. You could also type into the YouTube search bar Little Giant by Myshire Farm. I bought one. They didn't give me a discount, didn't talk to the company. I just bought one, did an honest review on it. And you can make sure that works well for you. But as far as affordability goes, I think that would be the best affordable one. If you do want a really quality incubator long-term, Brincia is something you want to look at. For a tabletop. For a cabinet incubator, GQF. Love GQF. But those are expensive and big. So those are for more serious hatchers. Feather Connections Homestead says, next year will be off the chain because I'm not going to be sick and I'm going to be the life of the party. The MC will be off the chain dancing, laughing. It'll be sweet. There you go. I'm pretty sure that Kelly's the one that got me sick at QuailCon, but we'll let that go for now. No, I'm just joking. I just get sick every year. My immune system tanks, and after QuailCon I tank. Billy says, when is QuailCon next year? It is, I don't know, like September 1st. I don't know if I've got a calendar for next year yet. I do not. I don't know the dates. If I was a betting man, I would already assume that S.O. Swanson already put the dates in the comments. So we'll see if oh, nope, they did. There you go. They already did it. It's August 31st and September 1st. Oh, God. So soon. I've got so much to do. Dave Martin's in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. John, before we had a GQF, we always used the Little Giant to hatch eggs. There you go. Great minds think alike. No one's talking to me. Time and Timber says, preach, Zach. That must have been during my rant. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm says, prepping question. How can we feed our quail if we don't have access to feed stores? If you don't have access to feed stores, I mean, there's a Tractor Supply or Chewy online. I mean, you can make your own food. I just don't think it's worth it. They're not going to produce well. I'm not a big believer in making your own food for quail. I just don't think it's worth it. But everybody raises them differently. There's not a wrong way, so you could try it. There's ways to do it. You can, add oyster shells or black soldier flies, or grow stuff in the garden, or whatever. I mean, there's ways to do it, but I recommend with Coturnix quail, buying feed. But they can eat, like if you've got chickens, they can eat what your chickens do. It's not a big deal at all. Yeah, sorry, that's my answer. Sorry. I was going to try to go more in depth, but that's really what my answer is. Child of God says, with raising our own meat, we know we are getting real meat. Yep, absolutely. Dave says it's way healthier than what's in stores. Absolutely. Foster Farm says, tell it, Zach. There you go. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm, homesteading in the city, says, what if no access to there? Yeah, I mean, there's Chewy online, which is where my wife gets like dog food at, and they deliver. And then Tractor Supply, Rural King, they can always order feed in for you, and they always have stuff in stock. There was a statistic that someone sent to me, and if you Google feed suppliers near me, I think it said there was like 87% of locations in the U.S. was within a 30-mile radius. I never looked that up to verify it, so I probably shouldn't have said that. They did send that to me, though. I don't know why they'd lie. Like, they just randomly sent it to me, which I thought was cool, and I appreciate the information, but I never did verify it. All right, forget that part. Nikki James says, we love the Soapbox Act. There you go. Serial Delta is in the house. Says, hi, Zach. I just want to say good day from the northeast coast of Australia. Welcome. Very cool. I've watched you in Slightly Redneck for a while now, and you have given me the drive to have a go. They grow so fast. They really do. We love that you're here. Welcome. And we love that you're a part of the community. I'm glad you're here. And Slightly Redneck is amazing. Chris Carnes from Slightly Redneck on YouTube was here at QuailCon as well. He's been a guest speaker every year. I love him. He's one of the best friends. I mean, I would call him friend. And actually, I think he's less than 200 subscribers away from hitting 100,000 subscribers. He's in the city in Missouri, and he raises meats, and he grows some chickens, and I don't think he tells people, and quail, and does all kinds of cool stuff, has a garden, and YouTube's his experience. He's got great content. He's been doing it for a long time. And so if you're not part of his subscribers on YouTube, Slightly Redneck, stop listening to me right now. Go join him. I'll be here when you get back. But I'd love to see him get to 100,000 subscribers. He is an amazing person, and a wealth of knowledge as well. And anyways, Serial Delta, I'm so glad you're here. And you're watching two good YouTube channels, if I have to say so myself. Witch Doctors in the house, good evening. Saying hi from Tennessee tonight. Welcome. Glad you're in Tennessee. Glenn says, I'm one of the only guys around where we're here in Michigan. I wanted to go bigger. Any advice? I've got a playlist called Quail for Profit. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. There's a lot of details in there on how to grow a business locally, and you would be surprised. There is a lot of quail in Michigan. A lot. Believe you me. I ship there a lot. There's been 3 different times that I've driven there to deliver like literally between 500 and 2,500 quail. There's some players in Michigan for sure. But I've got that playlist, Quail for Profit, on YouTube, and there's a lot of great ideas on starting your local business and getting your name out there and things like that. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm says, I am talking about if internet is down, stores close, etc. I think we got big problems if that happens, but there's a lot of big problems with that. Which, I mean, could be a possibility. I'm not saying there's not, but yeah, I mean, you could raise your own food, and they'll pretty much eat anything in the garden. So if you garden, then you can give them whatever you want, and they'll eat it. Just nothing citrus. But you know, they love cucumber, and they love apple, and they love pretty much anything. They really are kind of like pigs in the poultry world. Like, they'll eat whatever you throw at them, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool. JJ Willow says, I've learned so much raising quail. I found them harder to raise than chickens, ducks, but much more rewarding and tasty. Plus, I can raise them in a smaller yard without being bothered by the city. Absolutely. Glenn says, I have approximately 100 quail now. Awesome. That's quite a bit. Very cool. Congratulations. Dave says he can cut that from a short. I don't know what I did. I'm sure I did something stupid. Sorry. Witch Doctors in the House says, hi y'all. Hi y'all, everyone. Hi everyone. Hi everyone is what it says. There's a lot of exclamation points and I couldn't read it right. I'm so sorry. Welcome. I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're in Tennessee. Child of God says the cat likes the flies. Our cats do not. They are the laziest, useless animals in the history of our farm. Glenn says, where do I learn how to get more customers? I've got a playlist on YouTube called Quail for Profit. It shows you a lot about how to grow your customer base locally. There's a bloop market, there's eating eggs, you can go to stores, you can go to nail salons, Craigslist, Hoobly, farmers markets, I mean a lot, but there's a lot of information in there that I would recommend checking out. A lot. Bob says, is it safe to eat a rooster that has... I would not know. If it's, well, I don't want to use that word. If it is, I don't know how to say it. My brain is not working. I'm sorry. If it's injured, and I'm not just talking like it broke its leg or it broke its beak or something, but, or like a wing, but like if it's like injured, like it's like got bumblefoot so bad that it's starting to, you know, you can see the legs starting to swell up or you know, something like that, the best thing to do is just call it and not even take a chance on it. I should really say that much more clearly, but my brain's not working. Witch Doctor says, Psych Award says hi, he's talking to his uncle. There you go. Tell him we're glad he's here as well. Jennifer says, I also didn't know quail was a thing. I just got started and got hooked and met the people who raise quail and am totally in. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people want to be self-sufficient, but they don't even know it's an option. So I did that rant earlier. I'll let it go. Is it true they can tolerate down to negative 20 degrees? Yep, absolutely. That's not a problem at all. We've got a lot of customers in Alaska and things like that that get very, very cold. And they do fine as long as they can get out of the elements. Not a big deal at all. John says, what's the best laying quail? Scarlets, EB, so Tibetans and Rosettas, they're literally almost matched on everything. Like they're equal as equal can be. Scarlets, EB, Tibetan and Rosetta, and tuxedos. They're all really, really high. Like within 5 eggs a year from each other. And then there's a small dip, you know, 20 eggs a year, 30 eggs a year, but then everything else. The most productive egg-laying quail that's a feather sexable is Golds. And the most productive rare color is Growl Fees. And the most productive egg layer in jumbos is Jumbo Egyptians. See, I know some stuff. I know some stuff, guys. Teapot of Fury says, John, a female just met... Oh, not talking to me. Not talking to me. Glenn says, my jumbo whites are doing the best. Jumbo whites do very well as well, and they're very large eggs. But jumbo Egyptians are the best egg layers productively, as far as jumbos go. Teapot of Fury says, I live near Buffalo and mine are in the enclosed porch without insulation. They do just fine out there, not a problem. Flapper 45 is in the house. First time catching them live. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here and welcome to the community. Ordering our first 50 eggs from y'all in a couple of weeks. Hopefully I'll hatch them and not cook them. I'm sure you're going to do great. If you have any questions along the way, we do this every Sunday. We'd love to answer any questions you got. We got a lot of Facebook groups. Make sure you check out quailuniversity.com as well. That gives you everything you need to know about raising quail and doing it successfully. And I'm just a text away, but good luck, and I wish you all the best. And we will be here when you are ready. Jennifer says, it's always good to hear someone talk about what they love to do. There you go. Glenn says, I feed my birds watermelon and cucumber. They do love that as well. Flap45 says, been researching for about a month now. Very good. I'm glad you're doing the research first. And you're well on your way. You're doing it right. Glenn says, funny to watch them, all kinds of songs, sounds, and quail dancing. Absolutely. Witch Doctor says, we're listening while at dinner with the auntie and uncle. There you go. Get off and enjoy family time. We'll see you next week. Barry's in the house from Ireland. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I'd love to go to Ireland. Glad you're here. Very, very cool. Witch Doctor says, Ricky mowed our lawn for the first time today. It took him 4.5 hours. Very cool. They used to live in Las Vegas, big city, not a lot of space. And then they just bought a place and moved to Tennessee. And they are living the life. They're living what they want to do. So I'm very proud of them. And I'm sure that was a very enjoyable 4.5 hours. They've been looking forward to it for a long time. S.O. Swanson says, nightshade, tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and eggplants. There you go. Pumpkin's a good idea as well. They love pumpkin. No one's talking to me. Hold on. We're planting the garden in coops. Very cool. Child of God says, have to step out, so all have a greatly blessed week. Good night. You as well. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. I appreciate it. Our live's going a little bit long, but we're getting great content, great questions, great community, and great encouragement. So keep them coming. Aaron says, hey, all, I'm back. Had a few customers come get quail. That's a great excuse. Congratulations. Marty says, hello from California. Very excited with my first eggs ever from you, of course. Thank you. They have been in the incubator since Friday. Want to thank you for all the information you provide us. Well, thank you for watching. That's why I do it. And I'm glad that it helped. I wish you all the best. Obviously, keep me posted on the hatch rate. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But we love that you're doing it. Welcome to the community, and good luck. JJ Willis says, I have like 3 quail that I could never call. I didn't give them names, but at this point I should. There you go. We were like that for a long time. My wife and my kids were like that for a long time. Like, up until like 3 years ago. And then I kind of put a stop to it. I said, no, we can't, no, we can't do it anymore. So, but it only took me 9 years to convince them we couldn't do it anymore. So it takes time. It takes time. Jaguar Andy says, by any chance, have you raised mountain quail? I have not. We've hatched some out long time ago for someone, but I have not. They're more of an ornamental quail, which there's nothing wrong with, but my focus and intention and desire is on self-sufficiency, and mountain quail just, they're seasonal layers and they're ornamental. They are cool. They're very cool, and they are fast. Holy mother of God. Like, you should see them in the brooder. They are like road runners, man. They're really cool. But they're just not my thing. But we did hatch some out. Barry says, can you raise button and jumbo side by side? No, you cannot. I mean, in different cages you can, but you cannot put them in the same cage. Those jumbos will destroy those buttons in a heartbeat. Our Mojo 23 says, does anyone have a hack for peeling quail eggs? I do not. Sorry. Yeah, I don't. I boil them and then I I do it the hard way. But I don't do it very often. Glenn says, yes, you can put them in vinegar for an hour. They peel easy then. There you go. That's good news. Thanks for sharing. Roll cooled hard-boiled eggs to break shell, open at air sac and big end. Grab membrane and peel in the sheet of cracked eggshell contained on membrane. There you go. S.O. Swanson says, stir while boiling, get real cold after boiling, crack all the way around, start at big end, get an electric egg peeler. There you go. There's some good advice as well. Thank you, everybody. No, we don't have time for that story. I won't tell you the story. Let's just say I'm an idiot. WR says, what can I feed quail if crap happens and I can't get food? If you raise garden, you can feed them whatever's in your garden, whatever leftovers, or kind of like pigs. Just throw the leftovers in there, they'll eat it. But quail is not really an animal that is going to be like, if the end of the world happens, something that you're going to just really continue to do, because it would be a lot of work to do that. You know, they can't roam and they can't free range and things like that. But it's a great addition to a farm, getting self-sufficient, and it's a great start. But as far as that goes, it's not necessarily a great resource if yeah, I mean, if the world ends, then, you know, cooney pig, like heritage pigs that can live off the land and you don't have to feed them, and cows that can live off the land, and chickens that can, you know, free range. That's kind of the stuff that you would need. Quail are very much domesticated, and it's just, I mean, you can try it, and I know people want to do it. It's just, sorry, that's my opinion. Sorry. Jaguar, oh dear God. Jaguar Andy says, what's the difference between quail and button quail? Button quail are just really tiny. They're just the tiny quail. They're more ornamental as well. They lay really, really small eggs. They're tiny. And Coturnics are bred for meat and eggs year round. Nikki says, button quail only get about 4 inches tall. See, there you go. Told you. Wasn't lying. Glenn says, yes, they are. But putting them in vinegar after boil will make the shell easier to peel. Works great. There you go. Sundial Fragrance says, Incubrite works great for me as well. Absolutely. Dave says, buttons are quail chihuahuas. There you go. I love it. I love that. Kent Nichols says, I just enrolled in the Quail 101, and yes, all the quail I ordered showed up alive and well and are still doing good. Wonderful to hear. Congratulations. I'm glad that they all showed up happy and healthy. I wish you all the best, and I think you're going to love Quail 101. I'd love to hear feedback from you, and keep me posted on your adventure with quail, and welcome to the community. No one's talking to me. Sundial Fragrance says, Zach, if you would have to make your own quail feed, what combo recipe would you go with? Any suggestions? I honestly haven't even looked into it. I do not know. I'm sorry. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, I don't even really know who to even recommend to you for that information. No, I'm not going to say that either. Look at me watch my mouth. Timber Ridge Quail Farm says, we got our GQF this week, so excited to put our Myshire eggs in on Tuesday. Awesome. Good luck. You're going to love the GQF, and keep me posted on the hatch. Dave says, are there ways to feed quail if feed supplies are cut? Same as your chickens. I'm getting this question quite a bit tonight. Get a lot of texts as well. I mean, they can eat any chicken feed, or they can eat garden scraps, or whatever. You can put them in an aviary and they can pick around that stuff. But they're not, quail are not made, they're not a good idea for end of the world planning. Like they would just require, like if crap hit the fan, quail would not be a sustainable source because they would take so much of your time and energy because they can't free range or they'll all die. So it wouldn't be a great resource for that. Whereas like pigs and cows and chickens and goats and things like that would be more sustainable. But quail are a great source for continued self-sufficiency, as long as the world hasn't gone to hell in a handbasket. S.O. Swanson says, 2024, August 31st. I've already posted the dates all the way to 2030 in the QuailCon Facebook groups. Oh, dear God. You stress me out sometimes. Pettimal Farm says, like number 72, happy I made it, even though I'm late. Hope you get better. Thank you very much. Glad you're here, and thanks for stopping by. And yeah, hit the like button, support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Glenn says, I have 6 gray jumbos. There you go. Good luck. The problem is a jumbo is not a jumbo unless it breeds true jumbos for 3 generations. So you can get any quail to be 10 ounces. But when you produce that, when they produce chicks, does that chick get to 10 ounces or above at 10 weeks old? And then do their eggs that hatch out produce 10 ounces at 10 weeks old or above? That's the big issue, because you can almost get any quail to be a jumbo. But breeding true consistently, that's the issue. Dave says no feed, harvest time, I guess. That is pretty much what would, like, if everything went to hell in a handbasket, like, and it was not coming back. Yep, we've got some solar panels that's attached to some freezers, and we would have a field day and butcher a lot of quail. That's for sure. For sure. Jennifer says, mine like those dried worms and also some scratch grains from their snacking. They lay eggs after they snack. Very cool. Sundial Fragrance says, let's say in the event there is no more pre-made food, this is the situation I'm referring at. Yeah, no, I completely get it. I just, my brain doesn't go there, unfortunately. I'm just not a good source for that. I'm sorry. I wish I was, but my brain doesn't. My brain doesn't go there. I'm sorry. Vase plays Zach, I think I need to go to all your lives and clip all the rants for some videos. Oh, I don't think that'd be a great idea. I'm sure I'd get a lot of angry people. Egg Got Bait says 300 away from 100,000 subs on Slightly Redneck. Very cool. Again, subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy, great resource, and I'd love to see him get to 100,000. I've got Pettimal Farm says, I've got a regular customer whose doctor prescribed quail eggs to help her overall anemia. Very cool. That's very cool. I've not heard that. I mean, I've heard that it helps, but I've not actually heard that a doctor prescribed it. That's awesome. Very cool. Feather Connection says, don't tell people I got out sick, that I got you sick. They'll hate me. I didn't get close enough to you to get a selfie, so I don't know. If I got you sick, I mainly hung with Christina Gutros, and she didn't get sick. LOL. What? I was just joking. I get sick every year. My system just shuts down. Foster Farm says, learn to get more customers at Quail Business Accelerated Quail for Profit Quail University. There you go. JJ Willis says, yeah, I won't feed my quail soybeans on purpose, but we'll eat quail with fermented soy sauce on top. LOL. There you go. Teapot of Fury says, what if you live where I am and there's a blizzard, you can't leave house? What foods then for short term? If you've got chickens, chicken feed is completely fine. Turkey, like whatever feed you've got, they'll eat. The best practice for us is we have a month of feed at all times. So nothing goes over a month old that we feed, but we always have a month all the time. So if there's anything happens, it's like a 2 week where we can't get food or whatever. We've got a month supply. Is how we do it. There might be a better way, but that's what we do. From what I've heard, it's like 3 months, I think, is like the best practice to use the feed. We just do a month because 3 months sounds like a lot to me, but yeah, that's what we do. There might be better ways to do it. Foster Farm says Jumbo White Wings eggs are huge. They really are. They really are a good size. Foster Farms is working with Quail University as well. They're putting up a I don't know what they're calling it, but it's a Quail for Profit class. It's going to be really good. That's not out yet, but they are starting to work on it, so stay tuned for that. And I know we've had some Quail for Profit questions tonight, and that would be another good source when that's up and running as well. Feather Connection says, I saw someone say they recommend quail eggs for chemo patients. Does anyone know if it'll help fight cancer? My mother-in-law just got diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. I wish her the best. And there is studies out there that says, I don't think it says that it helps with cancer. I think it helps. I don't want to say. It was a long time ago when I read it. It's not that it helps with cancer. It helps, I don't want to say prevent cancer. It helps deter certain, that I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, there are studies that say that it helps. I never read anything that says that it helps cure. I read things that it helps with preventing, but that is not the word that I read, and I cannot for the life of me remember the word that it said. And it was from, I don't remember. I think it was, from Texas A&M University. I think. It was a long time ago when I read it. A long time ago. But that was the only research paper I found that said that, and so I've never brought that up because it's only been verified in one source, and that's kind of a big deal to say that, and then, so. But I have heard that, yes. Long story short. Jan Reader's in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Casey's Tiny Urban Farm says, making a biodigester to use quail poop to make methane gas to cook with. Very cool. That's awesome. We tried that, and we almost blew up the farm, but we did try it. It's not in our wheelhouse, obviously. S.O. Swanson says, you can't name 6,000 quail. No, they would come in and look in the brooders and then move them to one brooder and say, oh, by the way, these are our pets. And I'm like, are they going in the house? And they're like, no, they need to stay out here. I said, if I'm feeding and watering them, then they're not pets. Timber Ridge Quail Farm says, what is the best resource to learn quail genetics? It kind of depends on what you're asking. If you're talking about colors, then you can ask online. You can look at websites and match up what you've got. We've got a playlist called All About the Colors. If you're talking about actual genetics, continued weight, production, lifespan, egg production, and things like that, actual good genetics, not just feathers. Then research papers are great to look at. You can find most of those on Google. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. So I did a video right before QuailCon, and I decided not to post it, but I talked about the 5 major things that we discuss and what we look for before we select our breeders. And we look for the 5 genetic factors. And so, there's 5 of them that we focus on. And so there's weight, and there's health, such as, leg size and beaks and overall, how are they acting and things like that. Egg production, and it goes down the list, right? Number 5 is color. I don't care about color. It's just a feather. You pull it out, doesn't have that color anymore. To me, color genetics is bottom of the totem pole when it comes to health and production and size and things like that. So, but there is a ton of research papers out there on health, on genetic health of Coturnix quail. A ton. Johnny says, I started using quail egg scissors. They make it so easy at first. I did not know about them, and it was a challenge to open them without them chipping. Yes, quail egg scissors is a life changer, isn't it? Like, it is awesome. Jennifer says, I put my quail eggs in my Instapot. They peel super easy. Good to know. Thank you. Bruce says, new here. Glad to have found y'all. Been watching and soaking up the info. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're part of the community. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're happy to help, and we're glad you're a part of the community. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Glenn says, I'm looking for a used incubator. Any suggestions where to go? Facebook Marketplace would be my first guess for used. Lene Hansen says, I was told to put boiled eggs in the canning jar with water, cover, then shake. I have not tried this yet. I tried it. It didn't work for me, but I could have easily been not doing it right. Sue Swanson says, we want the egg peeling story. So, real quick, I don't belong in the kitchen. I don't belong anywhere near a kitchen. I really shouldn't even deserve to eat because I just shouldn't even be around food. I'm just not a person that is good with any of that. Macaroni and cheese is a struggle for me. So anyways, it's just not my forte. It's just not my thing. It's not my thing. So I got a hitch in my giddy up about a month and a half ago, and I thought, okay, I've got some grow out eggs. My incubators are full, so I'm going to take these in the house and I'm going to make some hard-boiled eggs. It sounds delicious. And so I tried to put them in a can, or what I actually did was a Ziploc bag. I heard that you add a little bit of water, you hard-boil them, you add a little bit of water to the Ziploc bag, you put the eggs in there, and then you shake it, and then the peel comes right off. And it did not. It was a disaster. It didn't do crap. And I was very disappointed. So I was sitting there over the sink and I was peeling these eggs. And anyways, we were having dinner and I said, oh, I got this bowl of quail eggs. I did it myself. Look at me. I did something in the kitchen. Yay for me. And so I had one, I had two, and I had three. And I said, they're pretty good. They're all right. And then my son had one and he was like, that's not right. There's something wrong. And I said, well, I didn't boil them for long enough. Like, I think it was like 6 minutes and it was supposed to be like 11 or something like that. So they were soft boiled, so not the greatest. I like hard boiled, not soft boiled. Messed up on that, but you know, I tried, so I was still going positive with it all, and so no one else wanted any because they were soft boiled, which was kind of gross. It was kind of like eating a gusher, if you remember those from back in the day, where it like explodes in your mouth. It was kind of gross. It was the first time I ever had a soft boiled egg, and I didn't want to do it again. Anywho, by the way, just for the record, I did it the next day with the other eggs that they laid the next day. I hard-boiled them for longer, and they tasted delicious. They were fantastic. I love hard-boiled eggs. But the first time, not so great. Anyways, they were sitting there, and they looked just picturesque. Like, they looked gorgeous. And she goes, man, they look, there's no dents. They look great. And she picked one up, and she went, Zach? And I said, yes. She said, what'd you do? I said, I peeled them. And she said, you took the shell off. And I said, yep, sure did. She said, and then she peeled the membrane. And she said, you didn't peel the membrane off. That's why they look so perfect. And I said, you're supposed to do that? And she said, Jesus, Mother Mary and Joseph. I said, well, sorry. So I learned my lesson. Unfortunately, it was not like 40 years ago. It was like a month and a half ago. But I tried. And then I just wanted to make sure I could do it right. So the next day I brought them in, hard-boiled them for the right amount of time. They were hard-boiled, took the membrane off, which was actually a lot easier. Jenna was actually impressed that I could actually take the shell off without messing up the membrane. Like, she was like, I don't even know how you do that. And I don't know how I did it either, because when I started peeling them the second day, I don't even know how I did it. It had to be something to do with because they weren't boiled all the way. Anyways, that's my hard-boiled story. I haven't done it since. Now I am hungry. I did not eat dinner, and now I want some hard-boiled eggs. But, anyways, that was my story. I'm just a big dumb idiot, and don't know how to do anything in the kitchen. I lost my spot. Oh, found it. Here we go. No one's talking to me. I got a 3 to 4 minutes on a high Instant Pot, then ice water peel. There you go. Priske says I try to give my quail extra things to eat and they just stomp on it and poop on it. Yeah, they're not very grateful animals. Jaguar Andy says, I heard chickens can eat moldy or old food. Can quail do the same? They can. I don't do it. It's kind of gross. It smells really bad. I mean, like fermented feed, it's pretty much wet, moldy feed. Like that's what that is. So yeah, they can. But I don't like it. I don't like it. But everybody has their opinion, and there's no wrong way to raise quail, except if you're candling, and then you need to get an ink spray. I'm not a sponsor for them. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. And I had one on me. Emma Ball says, if I have more males than I can keep with hens at the moment, but I don't want to call them as I want them for future breeding projects, what's the best way to house 7 males? Put them in a separate cage, put a tarp or a blanket or a towel over the cage, make it dark, and they will get along just fine. No problems asked. Orlando says, 11 to my white wings hatched, so excited. Awesome, congratulations. If crap hits the fan, we'll be eating the quail. Yep, absolutely. RMojo23 says, hit the like. Absolutely. Hit the like button, support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Sundial Fragrance says, thank you, Zach. You answered my questions earlier. Quail can't be free ranged. Yep, absolutely. It's a great source for meat and eggs. But again, if crap hits the fan, then so do quail, pretty much. Emma Ball says, I have them kept separate at the moment, but they are very noisy at night in competition with each other, and I have neighbors close by. The only quiet males are the ones with the hens. Yep, just cover up the cage, completely dark. They won't make a noise, and they'll do fine. Tim W. says, just ordered a set of jumbo wild eggs. When they're mature enough, will inbreeding be an issue? It will not. I've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Right now I've got 12. During first quarter, I'll have 16 full cages of jumbo wilds. We collect some of each one, so there's no issues with inbreeding at all. Great question, but no issue at all. We do that work for you. Teapot of Fury says, Caturnix will eat the buttons. LOL. They would eat them. Orlando says Egyptian Fee is jumbo quail. Nope. Egyptian Fee is not, because they don't breed jumbo 3 generations down. So they are large. And I think we do have 50 hens, and out of those 50 hens, I'm pretty sure like 42, like a lot, like almost all of them are at least 10 to 10.5 ounces. Like they weigh really well, but their babies and then their babies' babies do not keep that weight. It usually goes down to about 9.2. And then you have to breed it back up. So the reason I don't say that they're jumbo is because they're not consistent at every generation. Abalove says, I have 5 female quail that are almost 9 weeks old. Only 2 have been laying eggs. One started before 6 weeks and the other a few days later. Why haven't the rest started? Make sure that there's 16 to 18 hours of light a day. You might just have a couple of overachievers, and the rest of them are like average Joes, which is fine. But make sure there's 16 to 18 hours of light a day, and that should fix your problem. Also, make sure that they're all hens. Yep, that's a good idea too. Laura's Micro Broodery is in the house. Hi everyone, late to get here, but better late than never. Absolutely, welcome to the party. Emma Ball says, if I put all males in one cage and take them out of breeding mood, when reintroducing the light back to them, how long will it take them to be ready to breed again? 30 seconds. 2 seconds. When they see the cage. That won't be a problem. They're very driven. You can't breed that out of them. Males are very driven. Yeah. Teapot of Fury says, you can eat button eggs, but they definitely are very small. Yeah, they're edible. They're just like that big, like for real. Jennifer says, I make a Vietnamese steamed bun with filling and quail egg in the center. That actually sounds really cool. I'm so hungry right now. Teapot of Fury says, yep, I have 20 button eggs sitting in a bowl and 16 in an incubator. There you go. Very cool. Farm life is in the house. I'm finally here. Sorry I'm late, friends. We're at our house. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Glad you showed up. And thanks for stopping by. Bob Wolf says, should I be taking a group 1 rooster and putting him in with a group 2 hens? Or should I be keeping roosters with the same hens that hatched together? It's really not a big deal. You can do whatever you want. You can keep them all together for at least 3 generations. Well, it depends on who you get. If you're getting them from me, then you keep them together for at least 3 generations. Not a big deal. You just inbreed them. Not a big deal. And then if you've got 2 cages, so you've got, cage 1 and cage 2, group 1, group 2, group A, group B, however you want to word it. After 3 generations, you're going to take the hens that hatch out of group A and put them in with the males that are in group B. And then you're going to take the males that were in group B and put them in the group A cage with the existing hens. You're going to hatch those out and then you start all over. Hopefully that makes sense. Jennifer says, I put up a string of Christmas lights and put them on a timer. I have a better laying rate. Yep, absolutely. Make sure it's 16 to 18 hours of light a day. Oh, I missed one. I'm sorry. Make sure it's 16 to 18 hours of light a day. Do I keep the group? Oh, there was more to that question. Or was there? Oh, there. Okay. Do I keep the group of males in complete darkness or just reduce the daylight hours? Put them in complete darkness. And if just a reduction, how many hours should they be getting in non-breeding mode? Yeah. So 0 darkness means much more quieter, so 0 darkness is completely fine. They are the regular brown color with black. JJ Willis says, Zach's wife and children sound like sweethearts. They really are. They're good peeps. They're good peeps. I'm going to keep them. Hopefully they'll keep me. Vent test is my go-to for confirmation now. There you go. Jennifer says, tell us how to get them out of the cage and safely put them in another container cage. Hold legs, hold wings closed. You don't need to hold the legs. Like if you're transporting them from one to another, you just grab the back of them, put your thumb and your middle finger on each side of the wing so it can't flap, and then you just pick it up and then you just take it wherever you want to go. That's the only way they can hurt themselves. So yeah, if you want to, you can pick them up with both hands and you just wrap your hand around it like that. But you don't have to worry about the legs at all. I mean, they could scratch you, so be careful with that. But they can't like hurt themselves with their legs or anything. They flap their wings and then they'll break a wing or something. So the wings are the only thing you have to worry about. Hopefully that answers your question. I think that was your question. Abelow says the 5 female that have spotted breast and the 1 male has the color on his chest. Yep, that's correct. Teapot of Fury says, I'll be keeping backup bags of feed, then had a blizzard with 5 feet last winter, LOL. Yeah, so again, what the feed stores recommend is 3 months. Like they can go 3 months without using the feed and it's still good. I would just say a month, that should be plenty for you. And if they have to go on a little bit of diet, because it takes longer, then they go on a little bit of diet. But if you've got the space for a couple of bags, I don't know how much you go through, but if it's just a couple of bags and you can stack them up somewhere off the ground, then yeah, I would just buy a couple of bags and say, okay, I go through a bag a week, so let's get 4 bags at a time. And then you just, every time you go, you just get 4 bags and then you only have to make the trip once. That's what we do on a larger scale. Andrew Rabbit says, hello, welcome, we're glad you're here. Christina says, can I grow fodder from wheat berries to feed Coturnix quail as microgreens? Yes, you can. They would love that. JJ Willis says, soft-boiled eggs are very good in Asian-type soup and noodles. I mean, I ate them. I prefer hard boiled, but I'd never had a soft boiled. I just messed up. Cracking me up about the boiled eggs. Yeah, I'm not smart. I'm not a smart person, and I don't belong anywhere near a kitchen. Jennifer says I sneak up on them and grab. Keep wings closed so they don't flap. I thought there may be a better way. Nope, you're doing completely fine. That's exactly how you do it. That's exactly how that's what we do. Andy says, hello guys, how are you all doing? Welcome, I'm glad you're here. Tim W says, how often should I change out the bedding, blue paper towels during the brooding phase? It's a great question. It depends if you've got wire bottoms underneath. So, long story short is we put blue paper towels down and then we put the chicks in, day-old chicks. For the first week, we do not change the blue paper towels out. At day 7, we take the blue paper towels out and they are on wire bottoms and they do completely fine, no big deal at all. 1/4 inch. However, if you've got a solid bottom, then the first week is the same blue paper towels, first week. And then after that, it's like every 2 or 3 days. Like they just start growing immensely and they start getting really gross really fast. So if you've got a wire flooring, take them out after the first week and no more. If you've got a solid flooring, probably bedding would probably be a better way to go if you've got a solid flooring, because that could probably go about a week. But those blue paper towels after the first week, it's like every 2 or 3 days because they destroy it. It's a good question. Jennifer says, Inkberry is the most amazing candle. There is no other. Agreed. Andy Rabbit says, Zach, what is in the new mix eggs I got from you at QuailCon? There's there's 2 research that we've not named yet. They're just research ones that we started. And then Scarlet Fees, Cosmos, and Amber Fees. Laura's Microbrewery says, flies are so bad right now. Has anyone ever tried sprinkling baking soda in the poop trays to keep the smell down? I actually just did a video. I mean, I wouldn't say just. It was like a month ago. But I did a video about fly control, and I would highly recommend watching it. We found a thing online, and it's awesome. I think there was like 0, maybe... No, there was some in the brooder room. Maybe at QuailCon when it was like 95, 100 degrees outside and there was so many people coming through and our fans for circulation wasn't on because they couldn't hear me when I was doing the tours. There was maybe 50 flies in that barn, and we've got a big barn and a lot of quail and a lot of stuff going on, and it was very humid. When I was in the barn all day today, there was probably 4. So make sure you watch that video. It'll give you some great ideas. If I remember the name, then I would tell you now, but I don't. So if you just look Fly Control up, Fly Control by Myshire Farm, that should show up. Foster Farm says, got to run, guys. Our son is visiting, and I get to go do the mom thing. See you next week. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week. Matt says, how long does it usually take to get eggs once ordered? About a week. Around a week. Depends on what you order. Feather Connection says, I just made quail jerky and it was delicious. Now my dehydrator has quail feet dehydrating in it for my necklace. Now just to improve my feather earring technique so I can make the most out of it. Very cool. My spirit quail parts post butchering. There you go. Use every bit of it. Andy Rabbit says, tomorrow is locked down for me. Awesome. Good luck. And keep me posted on that. My hubby and both kids, our mother-in-law loved the jerky and told me I should sell it. Very cool. There's another source for you. Very cool. Trash to cash. Yep, absolutely. Jennifer says 2 seconds. I'm laughing out loud. Yeah, it won't take any time at all. No one's talking to me. Jennifer says, can you give dehydrated feet to your dog? I think so, but I don't know. I don't dehydrate stuff. I'm pretty sure you can. Andy Rabbit says, I know it sounds funny, but I like the beeping sound when the incubator is turning the eggs. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Johnny says, would it be better to buy more eggs from you and put them in with ones I hatched after second generation? You can. I mean, obviously, I'd love for you to order from us, but it's not necessary at all. If you bought eggs from us in the first place, you really can go 3 to 5 generations without doing anything. And it's not a big deal at all. You don't have to worry about it. If you've got 2 separate cages, then you're just going to put, after 3 to 5 generations, put the males in with this cage and put the hens in with this cage, hatch them out, and then separate them again, and you're good to go for another 3 to 5 generations. But if you don't want to deal with all that, then like every 3 generations, every 3 years, just buy more from us and we'll take care of it here. Then you don't have to worry about it. So it's whatever you want to do. A lot of my customers, because they usually, so we recommend switching your males out once every 9 months and switching your hens out once every 1.5 years. So, I mean, I don't know a number, but I would say more than half, but not a lot more than half. Not a lot more than half, but still more than half. Usually just about every 1.5 years, they just buy more. They butcher the ones that they had, and then they just put new ones in there, and then they don't deal with it at all. I'm not saying you have to do that, but however you want to do it is not a big deal. But it's definitely not a necessity, especially after second generation. You still got at least another year before you need to do anything. Tim W. says, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, feel free to ask again. Differently. Tim W. says, I have a dog that may be curious with the new flock. How can this affect quail laying? What's the best practice with predator animals nearby? As long as it's consistent, so like our dogs, the quail, like a lot of people, like, let me give you a good example. Verna, which is the moderator on here, she raises hers in an apartment. She has a dog. The dog is around the cage all the time. Quail do not care about that dog. They don't even notice or recognize that dog. However, if they're outside and an owl just shows up randomly one day and stares at the quail, that will stress them out. So any changes, but like if you've got like a dog in the backyard, they'll get used to that dog pretty easy. Hopefully that answers the question. Emma Ball says, so just to confirm, I can put 7 males together in one cage this evening, cover it up for as long as I need, and on the day I need them for breeding, they'll be fertile and ready. Well, I mean, the hens won't. The males will be ready to go, but usually you need to give the hens about a week once you put them in with the males. But there's nothing to do but wait once you put them in there. Teapot of Fury says they're males, they're always ready. That's, yep, absolutely. 2 seconds. Priske says, my dogs like to walk up to the cage and stare. Quail don't care for it, but still lay eggs. Yep, there you go. JJ, oh, you're not talking to me. Teapot of Fury says, love how you're trying to find the right censored word. Sometimes I'm a little too brash and I get yelled at a lot, so I try. Jimmy Johnson says, is it okay to raise the birds if they have a bad foot for 8 weeks, then harvest them? I have 2 out of the 20 that hatch that have bad foot. Yeah, that's not a big deal at all, but when you're butchering, you cut off, well, I don't know how you do it, but we cut off at the knee, right? As long as that, so pretty much what you're talking about is it's starting to swell up the foot. It usually takes months and months and months for it to start going up the leg. So as long as the leg is not inflamed, then you're good to go. But like there's some people that like after a year they'll butcher their existing quail and then they'll want to eat those, which is completely fine. But if they have bumblefoot and they've had it almost their whole life and they're a year old, usually that infection starts going up the leg, and then those are the ones we say, you know, cut off the whole leg and feed it to your dog. But it's a good question, but yeah, at 8 weeks, they'll be completely fine. Not a big deal at all. Andy Rabbit says, thank you. I could not remember when I got home what the new mix was. There you go. Happy to help. Glad I remembered. Yeah, quick strike fly bait. Holy mother of God, changes your life. If you don't want flies, put that stuff down. It will do the trick. Love it. Sunda Fragrance says, good night, everyone. Thank you, Zach, Quail Community, for all the useful info. You have a great week. You as well. Thanks for stopping by and being with us for so long. I appreciate it. William Markle's in the house. Greetings. It's been a while. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. David Lister says, Zach, what is your all-time favorite Coturnix quail? Jumbo Wilds. I mean, I the whole reason to raise Coturnix quail when it comes down to it is meat and eggs and self-sufficiency, and that's what I love, and that's my purpose and my passion. And so I know they're kind of a boring color, but they're the largest, and they're always going to be the largest. They've been bred for a long time for meat and eggs, and so the Jumbo Wilds are just perfect for everybody, in my opinion. My favorite color for years and years and years was the SSCs, the silvers. But I love the Pansy Fees. Man, I love the Pansy Fees. Those things are ridiculously gorgeous. My favorite color is the Pansy Fees and or the Cosmos. Those two are just ridiculously gorgeous. For Coturnix purposes, Jumbo Wilds all the way, and Egyptian Fees, because they're almost jumbo size. They're amazing egg layers. They're feather sexable. They carry the Fee gene and the Roux gene, and you can pretty much create anything with that quail. So that didn't really answer your question, but there you go. Christina says, how does Verna make sure she gives them enough light? She has lights on them. Oh, she has lights on a timer. She answered. There you go. Jimmy says, how about winter in a hoop coop? Not a big deal as long as they have some sort of shelter in there to get out of the elements. Not a big deal at all. But they do need some sort of shoebox type thing to be able to get out of the wind, rain, snow, sleet, whatever. Home and Stables in the house says, hi, I'm very late to the chat. We're making some. Where'd you go? There you go. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm glad you stopped by. Welcome. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're going pretty long tonight. Delaney says, today's auctions now require me to buy another incubator. Oh, no. Good news is you saved a lot of money on the deals on the eggs. So you can put the money that you would have spent on the eggs and put it towards another incubator. So it all depends on how you look at it. The money you saved on the eggs affords you to buy another incubator. Just thought. Michael says, Zach, my first batch of hatched eggs, I got 1 white wing. I called it. My second batch of my eggs, I got 2 white wings. If I breed them, will I get white wings from them, or will they go back to wilds? If you breed the 2 white wings together, you would get more white wings, but you would get white wings, wilds, and whites. And then you would just get rid of the wilds and the whites, and then just keep breeding the white wings together, and then you're good to go. If you want the white wings. Home and Stable says, we're making some changes to our quail house. We need to move the quail to a barn for a couple days. What is the best way to move them? Keep in cage or take quail out and move cage? It's a great question, and we actually did a couple different things. When we moved into our quail barn, before that, we were in the garage, and that's how we were running the business. We took all the quail out of the cage, put them in portable cages, put them in the back of the truck, drove the truck down, and then put them in the cage. And then we have a lot of quail, so I was lazy, and so I just drove the bobcat in there and picked up the whole cage with the bobcat and drove it down there in the bobcat. And believe it or not, the ones in the bobcat that were in the cage that was, obviously much more never stopped laying. And the ones that we moved from cage to cage stopped laying for like 3 weeks. Like, I don't know if that was a fluke or not, but I just moved the whole cage. But I don't think you can go wrong either way. I just thought it was weird because I would have thought the ones that we moved in the cage we were more gentle with, and it was in a smoother area, a smoother ride, and you know, the other cage I was like, oh, screw this. And then so you got this big monster bobcat, and you know, it's picked up and tilted, and it's going down this rocky road, and it did fine. They didn't care at all. They were on a roller coaster. Holman Sable says my husband could work around the quail, but you didn't post anything else out. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Johnny Newbie says, I ordered jumbo mix from you when I started, just wondering if they stay jumbo if I don't get more eggs from you, or do I need to refresh my quail to keep size, or so how long before I order more? Great question, and no, our jumbo wilds will continue every generation to be jumbo, as long as you need to either weigh them or you can visually do it, but every once, so like, our jumbo wilds are like 97% jumbo at 8 weeks old. Like there's 3% that, you know, failure to thrive, or they die early, or, you know, they're like 9.7 ounces, which is not a jumbo, and so we get rid of those, right? The jumbo whites are like 92%, the jumbo white wings is 98%, which is pretty amazing, and the jumbo Egyptians, I think, is like 91%. Yeah. So, the reason why I said all that is if you just hatch out and you don't weigh them, or you don't like visually look at them and say, hey, you look a little bit smaller, or whatever, there's only going to be 1, 2, or 3 out of every hatch. But if you start putting those in the cages, those will make your quail start being smaller too. So the answer to your question is, as long as you're using your biggest ones every time, they'll always be jumbo. But you've got to make sure that you visually, like, I'm not saying you have to weigh each one. That would be a best practice. But you need to at least, you know, look at them and say, okay, you all look about the same size, we're good to go. Or you all look great, but you look puny, so we're going to take you out. And then you just weigh that one and say, yep, you are puny. Or whatever the case may be. So just make sure that you're kind of breeding correctly as well. I don't know how to say that. Hopefully that makes sense. If that did not answer your question, feel free to ask in another way and I'll try to answer it better. Wow. Tim W says, nope. Still didn't happen. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Okay, I think I can make it a little bit longer. Tim W says, ordered aftermarket quail rails for my Nurtrite 360, and the jumbo eggs I ordered are really big and a bit tight when turning. How badly will this affect my hatch rate? What can I do to fix? I would put the regular rails in there and just put them in there and let them kind of move around a little bit, is what I would do. I would just quickly open it up, take the quail rail out, put the rail that it comes with on, put them in there, and put 2 in each section, I think, and you should be good to go. Depending on where you're at, this is actually a good question. Nurtrite 360. Actually, you know what I would do? This time around, Tim, no, you don't want to keep opening the incubator to turn. Turn the turner off. Don't turn them the rest of the time. Just let them go. You're going to get a much better hatch rate by not turning them instead of opening up the incubator. So don't turn them at all. Let it ride. You're going to do great. After this, I would switch out when you're doing jumbos to the original one that it came with, like the chicken egg turner, and put 2 quail eggs in each spot, and you'll do just fine. But no, since they're already going, instead of trying to do all that while the eggs are trying to incubate, just turn the turner off altogether and let them ride. You'll do fine. Not a big deal at all. It's a great question. Made me think for a minute. William Markle says, in my 3rd year of raising quail, I noticed that they lay more in the 2nd year. I didn't keep records yet. This year, the 2-year-olds are laying many each day. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's great. You're doing a great job. Teapot of Fury says, do you sell live birds, chicks, or just eggs? We do sell live birds on the website and eggs. We don't sell chicks. They're too heat dependent. They don't ship well, so we ship when they're 3 weeks old. Jimmy Johnson says, how about Italian jumbos? Are they good ones to raise? Italians, golds, what we call them on our website, are great to raise. They're the most productive egg-laying feather sexable quail that we have. They're a really cool color. They're feather sexable. However, they do not keep jumbo weight. They are not jumbos. In 12 years plus a bunch of research, I have never seen a jumbo Italian continue to be a jumbo Italian every generation. So, like, I could sell you, I could, within a month, I could go down there and make our pearls, or within one generation, I can make our pearls jumbos easily. But they will not stay there generation after generation after generation. A jumbo really should be something that's always consistently going to give you jumbo size, jumbo eggs, big, right? When you're talking about Italians, Rosettas, Tibetans, Fab Fees, things like that, you can get them to a big size. They will not stay that size. They just won't do it. They're not made for that. They lose weight at each generation. They are made for egg production, whereas jumbos are made for meat and large eggs, right? So you're going to get a lot more egg production out of golds and Fab Fees and Rosettas and Tibetans than you will any jumbo. But the jumbo Egyptians, the jumbo whites, the jumbo white wings, the jumbo wilds, they're going to be close to twice the size of a quail egg. As a standard quail egg, they're going to lay a little bit less, but their meat is going to be massive compared to of that. And then if you breed 3 generations in, those jumbo wilds are still going to be the same size, where those golds that were 10 or 11 ounces are probably down to 8.5 to 9. So just keep that in mind. That's a very good question, though. Armojo23 says, I am banned from the kitchen because I boiled the water off when making hard-boiled eggs. There you go. She hasn't banned me, but it's not my thing, so I don't really go in there either. Glenn says, thanks everyone, need to go. Have a great week. You as well. Thanks for hanging out with us. Petamal Farm says, just canned 25 quail. Good way to preserve for winter. Absolutely, that's a great idea. Holman Stable says, I am texting awful. He can work around the quail in the quail house, but we are afraid the pounding and movement would stress them out too much. Oh no, they'll do fine with that too. Whatever you want to do, but no. We pressure wash once a week. We use the leaf blower in there to blow everything out. Like, we're loud. We're really loud. And they don't care at all. Delaney says, good point, Zach, and then I'll have room to do more. One day I'm going to win the mix. There you go. See, it all depends on perspective. Bruce says, raise chickens for eggs and meat for years, starting out with, oh dear God, where'd you go? Starting out with Jumbo Pharaoh 5-1. Can I separate couple hatches to cycle, or should I get another separate line to rotate? Yeah, nope. The first way is the best way to do it. Separate a couple hatches to cycle, and then you are off to the races forever. Yep, not a big deal at all. Great. That's a great question. And yeah, the first one was definitely the way to go. Jimmy Johnson says, I have been getting double yolk. Is that common? I don't know what's between common and rare, but it's right there, whatever that is. Like, I wouldn't say it's common, but it's not rare either. It's abnormal? I don't know what that word is. Hopefully you know what I mean, though. If you don't, re-ask and I'll try to come up with a better answer. Emma Ball says, I've had quite a few quail lay 2 eggs each day, quite a few times in these past few weeks now. Do you know why this is? It could be a lot of different reasons. It's hard to say. I would just count your blessings and take the eggs. Sometimes they do overproduce before they go into a molt. That's not always the case, but that's one possible answer. You could just be giving them amazing feed, or it's usually the first. I wouldn't have enough information to say. Usually it's like right before molt they would do that, but not always. D of B&D Farm, very late but howdy from D&D Farms in Southwest Missouri. Welcome, we're glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. So Terry says, hi everyone from Gilroy, California. You're sounding much better than last time I heard you, Zach. How are you feeling? I'm getting there. I did lose my voice completely, like 100% Sunday night after QuailCon. Like, I had no voice. And getting better. Teapot of Fury says, how do eggs ship in cold temps? They do great for us. We've got shipping down to art science. Not an art science, just a science. To an art. I could go either way. We've got it down to an art, or we've got it down to a science. We don't have it down to an art science, because that's weird. So, yeah, they ship. We ship them all year long. I think we're at 73% for January, February, March, and April. And now we're up to 75%. So like maybe a 2% hatch difference, which is not bad at all. And, you know, people had really severe winters this year in some places. So yeah, they do fine. Not a big deal at all. Johnny Newby says, all questions answered, very satisfied. Thanks for your great help. Well, thanks for asking and being part of the community. Practicing Liberty says, I put Jumbo Wilds, Jumbo Mix, Groufy, and Golds 2 Mondays ago at 4 p.m. as of tomorrow. Should I lock them down tomorrow or wait till Tuesday? And what time of day should they be locked? 4 p.m. as of 2 Mondays ago. So tomorrow is the 14th at 4 p.m. I'd put them in tomorrow night, whenever, after 4 o'clock, like 7 o'clock or whenever you get home from work, whatever. I'd just put them in tomorrow. It's not going to hurt anything, and then you're done with it. So yeah, tomorrow night after dinner, that's what I would recommend. It's a good question. And good luck. Keep me posted. I wish you the best. We only got one rant story. You didn't miss anything important. I don't know how to take that. Andy Rabbit says, last winter I got a shipment of eggs. Oh, where'd you go? The day they were delivered and left on my porch, it was 35 degrees. I lost power 2 different times during the setting, and I got 20 out of 30 eggs to hatch out winter shipped okay. There you go. That's great answer. Thank you for sharing your experience. JJ Willis says, so and Terry, you missed an epic rant about Zach's passion about quail. Worth rewatching. Thank you. Jimmy Johnson says, I'm going to order jumbo from your company this week. We will be ready for you, and they'll ship within a week. They're shipped same day as laid, so first come, first serve. Billy says, I'm a teen. I'm really interested in raising quail. That's wonderful. I wish you all the best. And hopefully enter our 18 and under contest. If you type into the YouTube search bar 18 and under contest by Myshire Farm, it'll give you the information on what you can win, but you'll win a cage, a brooder, eggs, an incubator, a candler, scissors, and all kinds of cool stuff to get you started with raising quail. And you'll just enter by emailing me your name, your age, and why you want to raise quail. We'll pick a winner each month. We announce the winner the first Sunday of every month on our YouTube channel. But the video will give you a lot more details, but we'd love for you to join. And welcome to the community. We're glad you're here. Christina says, signing off. Thank you for the answers. Have a great week. You as well. Thanks for being here with us. Teapot of Fury says, when my hens lay in winter and it's like 30 degrees outside, they probably won't be viable to hatch, right? Breakfast food only. No, that's not necessarily true. The idea is that you want to, during winter, you want to collect your eggs twice a day. So like when you go feed in the morning, collect whatever's out there. When you go feed at night, go collect what's out there. The eggs will be fine. If you leave them overnight, that's when you have the risk of them not doing well. But our main barn is not insulated at all throughout the year. We collect every day, and we get same hatch rates all throughout the year, and it's not insulated at all. JJ Willis says, all this talk about hard-boiled eggs, now I'm hungry. I'm starving. Home and Stable says, I have Jumbo White Wing and Jumbo Wilds in the same cage. Want to breed mostly for meat. Is it okay to keep them in the same cage? Should I separate? They are all getting along. Now, if you're not... Yes. If you want meat and eggs and that is your focus, put them all together. Let them go. Yeah. Yes. That is exactly what you want to do. If you want to keep the color separate, then obviously you need to separate them. But if you're just focused on meat and eggs, put them together. They'll get along just fine, and they'll give you the biggest meat and eggs out there. Great question. Andy Rabbit says, Katrina, thanks so far. No power outage on this hatch on the eggs I brought home from QuailCon. That is wonderful to hear. Practicing Liberty says, thanks, Zach. Not a problem. Happy to help. Jimmy Johnson says, they're good therapy. They really are. They really are. It helps a lot of people. JJ Willow says, so I'll be making curried pumpkin soup and hard-boiled eggs after this live. There you go. Andy Rabbit says, I keep forgetting I have the jerky I got from Verna. I need to set it out. I was looking at the store today thinking about buying some. Glad I didn't. LOL. There you go. Delaney says, which incubator for the discount for Myshire? It's Brincia. Brincia.com. You can use the code Myshire and get 10% off. Guys, holy cow. 2 hours and 41 minutes. This has been one of the longest lives we've had in a long time. But it was a great chat. It was great live. Had a lot of great questions. Hopefully we had a lot of good answers for you. And great community. I'm so happy you all came. I really appreciate it. I wish I was feeling a little bit better for you guys. But next week will be better. So hopefully you'll all join us next week. I'm going to really try to do some videos this week. But I'm still behind because of QuailCon. So that's priority. But I've got a lot of great ideas for videos that I just need to get done. And I really appreciate you guys. And thank you for being part of the community. And until next week, as always, stay safe. See you guys. Have a great night.